Chapter 58. Is that true Yuan wings? It can't be, right? Qin Yu is only in the sky martial realm, but he managed to form wings with his true Yuan? Isn't his talent too monstrous? Seeing the wings that Qin Yu had condensed, even that inner academy elder felt extremely shocked. The reason why a martial king realm expert could form wings with true origin was because of the righteous force born from the true origin. Without true Yuan, they wouldn't be able to fly even if they formed wings with their true Yuan. However, Qin Yu had now clearly broken through that boundary. Could it be that his true Yuan had already given birth to true Yuan? If that was the case, then Qin Yu was probably the most talented genius in the history of the Zhenwu dynasty. How can you form wings with your true Yuan? Impossible, this is impossible. Xue Tianwu came back to his senses when he saw Qin Yu getting closer and closer. Fear filled his heart. Qin Yu's means were too terrifying, so much so that Xue Tianwu's heart trembled. Die. Frightened, Xue Tianwu continuously moved his right hand. Two martial emperor offensive talismans appeared and were thrown at Qin Yu. The flying range of the life and death ring was limited, so he couldn't fly away from Qin Yu. He could only attack. Whoosh, whoosh. The two offensive talismans exploded and turned into a wind wolf and a fire tiger. The wind wolf and the fire tiger were so lifelike that it was as if two martial emperors had arrived in person. After the wind wolf and the flame tiger flew through the air, they turned into two rays of light and pounced at Qin Yu. What can you do to me with your true Yuan? Qin Yu's eyes narrowed as he increased his speed. He passed through the wind wolf and the fire tiger like lightning. When he passed through them, the hell-suppressing divine spear pointed at the wind wolf and the fire tiger and exploded. It's time to go. Qin Yu's qi and blood surged like smoke as he charged into the hell-suppressing divine spear. The hell-suppressing godly spear trembled lightly. Runes lit up one after another, overlapping layer upon layer. It was incomparably mysterious. No, you can't kill me. I'm a direct descendant of the Xue clan. You can't kill me. Xue Tianwu, whose face was incomparably pale, could only continuously reinforce the defensive barrier around his body. When he saw Qin Yu becoming one with his spear and piercing through the air, he couldn't help but shout in horror. Stop! At the same time, a calm shout was heard. A silhouette was seen rushing towards the life and death arena at extreme speed. With a palm strike, violent true Yuan exploded, and the protective shield of the arena was directly shattered. Martial Emperor? Qin Yu raised his eyebrows slightly. He did not expect a martial monarch to interfere at this moment. However, even a martial emperor would not be able to save Xue Tianwu from him. Boom! Boom! In the next instant, Qin Yu's spear pierced a certain part of the true essence barrier, and then, one after another, deafening and violent explosions continuously resounded. As long as the balance of the true Yuan sealed within the talisman was broken, it would immediately explode, just like the wind wolf and fire tiger from before. Whoosh! Almost at the same instant that the true essence barrier exploded, a true Yuan pillar descended from the sky and swept Xue Tianwu away. The person who attacked was a black-robed old man with an ice-cold expression. Grandpa Jiu, quickly kill him, kill him! In the black-robed old man's hand was Xue Tianwu, whose face was deathly pale and filled with lingering fear. Bastard, you dare to attack after hearing this old man's words? The black-robed old man's eyes were cold as he looked at Qin Yu. He actually attacked, and a wave of true Yuan qi filled the sky like meteors, carrying a destructive force as it bombarded Qin Yu. A cold light flashed in Qin Yu's eyes. This black-robed old man had first broken the rules of the life and death arena to save Xue Tianwu, and now he was brazenly attacking him. He really did think that Suemo was a pushover. Xuemo, what are you doing? Before Qin Yu made a move, the figure of the inner court old man who was presiding over the life and death arena flashed and appeared before Qin Yu. He waved his sleeve and blocked the true Yuan qi. What am I doing? Qi Ming, I also want to ask you, What is the meaning of this? Why didn't you save Shui Tianwu just now? The black-robed old man, Shui Mo, spoke coldly, and the killing intent in his eyes was not concealed in the slightest. No one is allowed to interfere in the life and death arena. This is the rule of the sacred court. Qi Ming frowned. Even if it is the rule of the sacred court, you shouldn't watch the genius of my Shui clan fall. Shui Mo coldly snorted. You mean that even if the other students can die in the life and death arena set by the sacred court, the people of your Shui clan can't die? Hearing this, Qin Yu spoke indifferently, and a mocking sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. This kid is only in the sky martial realm, but he is able to form wings with his true yuan. He must have used some demonic means. Who knows, he might have cultivated some demonic means. In my opinion, we should hand him over to the Sacred Court's interrogation team and interrogate him strictly. Hearing Qin Yu's words, the cold killing intent in Shui Mo's eyes became even denser. Demonic means? Haha, old man, do you think that you can save him just because you are a martial emperor? The mocking sneer on the corner of Qin Yu's mouth gradually became a little strange. Shui Mo and Qi Ming were both startled. They did not understand what Qin Yu meant by that. Could it be that Qin Yu could still kill Shui Tianwu under such circumstances? Not good. Suddenly, Shui Mo seemed to have sensed something and suddenly looked at Shui Tianwu. Bang! Almost at that instant, a violent explosion sounded. Shui Tianwu's body shook and his eyes bulged. A violent and destructive fluctuation was emitted from his body. If one could look into his body, they would be able to see that a faint black true yuan had appeared beside Shui Tianwu's heart at some point in time. At that moment, the faint black true yuan had exploded and destroyed Shui Tianwu's heart in an instant. Tianwu! Shui Mo's expression changed drastically. He quickly hugged Shui Tianwu, whose true yuan wings had dissipated. However, after a quick check, he froze in midair. With his heart destroyed, even if the Daluo Golden Immortal descended, he would not be able to save Shui Tianwu. This kid is so ruthless. Qi Ming's expression changed slightly. He did not expect Qin Yu to have already prepared a secret method. Furthermore, he did not show any mercy. Yun Shi, Jiang Long, and the others who were watching were dumbfounded. They did not expect that Qin Yu would actually kill Shui Tianwu in front of a martial emperor. Damn little bastard. You actually dared to kill a member of my Shui clan. I will make you pay with your life. Looking at the lifeless Shui Mo was like a berserk demonic beast. He roared furiously and the berserk true star origin energy on his body turned into a huge hand that covered the sky and pressed down on Qin Yu. Shui Mo, don't be too presumptuous. Qi Ming shouted out loudly. He sent out a quintessential essence giant fist and sent that giant hand flying with a single punch. Before everyone's eyes, Shui Mo actually violated the Sacred Academy's rules again and attacked Qin Yu. This was simply openly challenging the Sacred Academy's rules. It was also equivalent to challenging the true martial royal family. I am presumptuous? This kid clearly used demonic means to kill a descendant of my Shui clan. Today I will definitely execute him on the spot. The murderous intent on Shui Mo's face intensified. The berserk aura on his body surged continuously. It was extremely terrifying. Don't forget that this is the Royal Sacred Academy, not your Shui clan. Qi Ming's expression sank as well. The aura on his body became even more shocking. As the two martial monarchs clashed, they emitted a soaring pressure. The other elders of the Royal Sacred Academy also gathered around. A life for a life. This is the right thing to do. Elder Qi, you should not have stopped Elder Shui. Just at this moment, a calm voice with an inexplicable pressure came from outside the spectating students. Chapter 59. This voice is... Hearing the authoritative voice, Shui Mo and Qi Ming, who were confronting each other, turned their heads. Qin Yu's eyes flashed as he tilted his head to look. To be able to interrupt at this time, this person's identity must be extraordinary. Furthermore, he seemed to be hostile towards him. The spectating students around the life and death ring made way for a group of people. The leading youth wore a golden robe and had an authoritative aura. It was the second prince, Wu Xingqian. The second prince, who is ranked third on the genius roll, actually appeared. Looking at Wu Xingqian, who had appeared, cries of surprise sounded out from the surrounding martial artists. Not only was Wu Xingqian a prince of the Zhenwu royal family, but he was also a top expert among the students of the Sacred Institute. Wu Xingqian was ranked third on the inner courtyard genius roll and was one of the 3 most powerful students of the Royal Sacred Institute. It seems that the second prince already knows about the Lei family. Hearing the exclamations, the dragon soul in the ancient dragon seal sized up Xue Tianwu with its large eyes. Xue Tianwu's cultivation was at LV8 Martial King realm. His cultivation and talent were not bad. Qin Yu was not surprised. Back then, he had only killed the upper echelon of the Lei family. The rest of the family members were still alive. With Wu Xingqian's status, it was not difficult for him to find out that he was the one who destroyed the Lei family. From the second prince's words, could it be that he wants to support Elder Xuemo? What's going on? Yun Shi, who had recovered from the shock, could not help but change his expression. If Wu Xingqian and the Xue clan teamed up, then Qin Yu would be in big trouble. After all, Wu Xingqian represented the Zhenwu royal family in a sense in the Royal Sacred Institute. Your Highness! Qi Ming was startled and flew down from the sky with Qin Yu. Xuemo also flew down and walked towards Wu Xingqian. Although Wu Xingqian's cultivation was only at LV8 Martial King realm, his status and talent were enough for them to treat him seriously. Elder Xue, don't worry. I will give the Xue clan justice, Wu Xingqian said to Xuemo with a dignified smile on his face. The reason why he appeared at this time was naturally to do the Xue clan a favor. If he helped the Xue clan this time, the Xue clan would more or less stand on his side in the future. Your Highness is fair and just. On behalf of the Xue clan, this old man thanks your Highness. Xuemo's eyes flashed with joy. With Wu Xingqian's support, it would be much easier to execute Qin Yu. After all, the Imperial Sacred Academy was still under the jurisdiction of the true martial royal family. Your Highness, this matter, Qi Ming frowned slightly. Just as he was about to speak, he was interrupted by Wu Xingqian. Why didn't you kneel and greet me when you saw me? Wu Xingqian ignored Qi Ming and looked directly at Qin Yu. His eyes were faintly flickering with a cold light. Who do you think you are to make me kneel? Qin Yu smiled lightly and stared straight at Wu Xingqian. His expression was arrogant and fearless. This guy is too arrogant. Hearing Qin Yu's words, the surrounding students were dumbfounded. Facing the prince of the true martial royal family, who was one of the top 3 geniuses on the genius roll, Qin Yu actually dared to say he was nothing? His guts were simply too big. How dare you? Not only did you not kneel and greet the second prince, you even dared to insult him. You should be executed according to your crimes. A terrifying light flashed in Wu Xingqian's eyes. Beside him, an armored martial royal shouted angrily and a majestic aura pressed down on Qin Yu. The violent aura was as if an archaean ferocious beast had been born and was about to destroy everything in the world. Executed according to my crimes? Qin Yu was unmoved and even smiled with disdain. If you have the ability, why don't you try to execute me? As he spoke, the spiritual array board appeared in Qin Yu's left palm. The heaven-punishing killing intent was ready to strike. If this person wanted to die, Qin Yu did not mind sending him on his way. Anyway, the killing intent of the heaven-punishing formation had recovered to more than 70 streak. It was more than enough to make a scene in the imperial city. You are courting death. The armored martial royal was furious. He immediately unsheathed his precious saber, and a chilling saber radiance spread out. However, Wu Xingqian stretched out his hand again and stopped the armored marshal royal. In the Imperial Sacred Academy, there was no rule that stated that if one did not kneel and greet him, he would be executed. Naturally, he could not order Qin Yu to be executed because of this. Do you know that according to the Academy's rules, killing a fellow student will result in this? Immediately, Wu Xingqian took a step forward. His eyes were indifferent and his voice was cold. He went straight to the point. As an elder of the Sacred Academy, you knowingly broke the law. Not only did you interfere with the life and death duel, but you also tried to kill the students of the Sacred Academy many times. According to the Sacred Academy's rules, what should be the consequences? Qin Yu also smiled indifferently. Or do you mean that the Sacred Academy's rules are only for the students? As soon as Qin Yu said this, the surrounding students all started to discuss. Judging from the previous situation, it was indeed Xuemo who had broken the Academy's rules. If the second prince insisted on protecting Xuemo, it would indeed be somewhat unfair. Your Highness, just now I lost control of my emotions because my grandson died. However, I have indeed broken the Sacred Academy's rules. I will go to the disciplinary hall to receive my punishment. Seeing this, Xuemo immediately stood up and admitted his guilt. All right, Elder Xue has already recognized his mistake. Qin Yu, what about you? Do you know your crime? After Wu Xingqian nodded slightly, his voice suddenly became stern. I really don't know what crime I have committed. Looking at Wu Xingqian and Xuemo acting like a duo, Qin Yu's face faintly showed a hint of mockery. After Elder Xue made his move, when the life and death duel ended, you still killed a fellow student. Do you still dare to say that you don't know what crime you have committed? Wu Xingqian questioned sternly. According to the Sacred Academy's rules, after entering the life and death duel, unless the opponent shows mercy, only one person can survive. I did not intend to show mercy to Xue Tianwu, so I killed him. What crime am I guilty of? Qin Yu did not back down at all. As a fellow student, you don't have the slightest bit of consideration. Wu Xingqian's gaze became colder. Don't you dare say nonsense like, I don't care about the friendship between fellow students. This will only make others think that you are brainless. Before Wu Xingqian could finish speaking, he was directly interrupted by Qin Yu's sneer. The corner of Wu Xingqian's eyes twitched. After so many years, no one had dared to interrupt him when he was speaking. This caused a cold, murderous intent to appear in Xue Tianwu's eyes. Your Highness, although Qin Yu's words are somewhat disrespectful, what he said is also the truth. If Qin Yu were to lose now, the one who would die would be him. Seeing the increasingly cold atmosphere, Qi Ming hesitated slightly and could not help but plead for leniency. After all, there were not many geniuses like Qin Yu who could directly kill a martial king in the Sky Martial Realm, even in the history of the Sacred Royal Academy. Such a monstrous genius would definitely become an expert whose name would spread throughout the 100 countries in the future and bring glory to the Zhenwu dynasty. Elder Qi's words are not without reason. Hearing this, Wu Xingqian actually smiled and nodded. Hearing this, Xuemo's expression became anxious, while Yunxi, Jianglong, and the others were slightly relieved. But immediately after, the smile on Wu Xingqian's face turned cold. However, when I said that he killed a fellow student, I was not only referring to the matter of Xue Tianwu. Chapter 60. What do you mean? Could it be that Qin Yu killed other students? That's not right. If it's a battle of life and death, this is the only one this year. Is it outside the academy? Hearing Wu Xingqian's words, the spectators around the life and death ring began to discuss. It can't be? Yunxi, Jianglong and the others could not help but change their expressions. If the crime of killing a student of the same academy was confirmed, it would be a serious crime, punishable by death. Wu Xingqian looked at Qin Yu with a cold smile. However, Qin Yu's expression remained calm, as if the person they were talking about was not him. Half a month ago, the Lei clan of the Flaming Cloud City was annihilated. During the annihilation of the Lei clan, 2 inner academy students of the Sacred Institute, Bai Yang and Xian Fang, were also killed by that bastard. And that person is you, Qin Yu. Do you still want to deny it? Wu Xingqian's eyes flickered coldly as killing intent filled the air. Qin Yu's arrogant attitude made him feel extremely displeased. Bai Yang and Xian Fang were killed by Qin Yu? Is that true? Bai Yang and Xian Fang's cultivations have reached the 2nd and 3rd layer of the martial emperor realm. They are not something that Xue Tianwu, a newbie who has just entered the martial emperor realm, can compare with them. A heaven realm cultivator can kill 2 martial emperors? What kind of monster is this? When Wu Xingqian's words came out, all the students and elders present were shocked to the point that they were dumbstruck. This news was even more shocking than seeing Qin Yu kill Xue Tianwu. After all, the combined strength of 2 martial emperors was not 1 + 1. Qin Yu was actually able to kill them? Exactly how frightening was that Qin Yu's battle power? Was he really only in the heaven realm? Flaming Cloud City's Lei clan? Isn't that the 2nd prince's? Qi Ming seemed to have recalled something as he could not help but turn his head to look at Qin Yu, his eyes filled with great astonishment. The Lei clan had already formed a marriage alliance with the 2nd prince. Qin Yu actually dared to annihilate the Lei clan? No wonder the 2nd prince was so aggressive and wanted to kill Qin Yu the moment he arrived. This brat must die. Xue Mo was also greatly shocked. However, after the shock, an extremely strong killing intent surged in his heart. Qin Yu's talent was too terrifying. No matter what, they couldn't let him grow. Otherwise, the Xue clan might be buried in Qin Yu's hands in the future. Why should I deny it? Qin Yu smiled faintly and admitted it directly. He could already tell that no matter what he said today, Wu Xingqian would make a move against him. Since that was the case, Qin Yu naturally couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense. Humph, killing a fellow student. According to the rules of the Holy Institute, he should be beheaded. Men, arrest him. Qin Yu's fearless attitude provoked Wu Xingqian even more. After he finished speaking, he shouted loudly. Immediately, 2 armored martial emperors stepped forward. Their terrifying killing intent locked onto Qin Yu. Wait. However, at this moment, a cold voice suddenly rang out. Everyone was curious and turned around to look. Who would dare to stand in the way of the 2nd prince at this moment? As the crowd parted, several figures appeared in their sight. It's her. Qin Yu's eyes lit up when he saw the person who had appeared. The person who had stepped forward to stop the 2nd prince was Bai Qinyue, who had been poisoned by the infinite poison's ink dragon. Is that senior sister Bai Qinyue, who ranked 6th on the list of talents last year? What day is it today? Not only did the 2nd prince appear, but senior sister Bai Qinyue, who had disappeared for a year, also appeared in the Holy Institute. Looking at senior sister Bai Qinyue's appearance, could it be that she wants to help Qin Yu? Looking at Bai Qinyue, who was walking gracefully toward them, the surrounding students and elders also began to whisper. Not only was Bai Qinyue talented, but she was also the princess of the commandery prince Bai Wu. Her status was outstanding. This generation's commandery prince Bai Wu not only inherited the title of commandery prince, but also made outstanding military achievements at the border. He was conferred the title of commandery prince by the current emperor. He was one of the top 2 princes in the Zhenwu dynasty. Of course, as the only daughter of the commandery prince Bai Wu, Bai Qinyue's status was naturally noble. Princess Qinyue, has the poison of the infinite poison's ink dragon really been neutralized? When Wu Xingqian saw Bai Qinyue, his eyes lit up and he immediately walked over to her. In the entire Zhenwu dynasty, Bai Qinyue was one of the most outstanding women in terms of status and talent. She was also Wu Xingqian's ideal wife. It should be known that Bai Qinyue was the apple of the commandery prince Bai Wu's eye. As long as he could get Bai Qinyue, he would gain the support of the commandery prince Bai Wu. It's all thanks to young Master Qin Yu's help that I managed to survive. Bai Qingyue nodded slightly to Qin Yu, walked toward him and bowed solemnly to express her gratitude. You are welcome, Princess. It's just a small matter. Qin Yu smiled faintly. However, when this scene landed in Wu Xingchen's eyes, his expression became somewhat ugly. Qin Yu was the legendary mysterious doctor who neutralized the poison of the infinite poison's ink dragon? How could this be? Even the most outstanding alchemist in the imperial family was helpless against the poison of the infinite poison's ink dragon. How could Qin Yu neutralize it? How old was he? Your Highness, rumor has it that after the princess went to the Dragon Spirit City, she said that the poison of the infinite poison's ink dragon had been neutralized. Qin Yu also came from the Dragon Spirit City. At this moment, an old man beside Wu Xingchen seemed to have thought of something and whispered to Wu Xingchen. So, Qin Yu and Princess Qingyue have known each other for a long time? Wu Xingchen's eyes darkened again. The murderous intent in his heart towards Qin Yu became more intense. Could it be that Qin Yu wanted to lay his hands on Bai Qingyue? Thinking of this, the intense murderous intent in Wu Xingchen's heart couldn't be suppressed. Your Highness, regarding the matter of the 2 inner court students being killed, I wonder if you have thoroughly investigated it? Bai Qingyue turned around and looked at Wu Xingchen with her clear eyes. Princess Qingyue, if I didn't investigate this matter clearly, why would I come here personally? The Lei family was annihilated and Bai Yangxian and Feng were killed. Countless people in the Flaming Cloud City witnessed that it was done by Qin Yu. Furthermore, Qin Yu admitted it himself just now, so there's no mistake. Facing Bai Qingyue, the murderous intent in Wu Xingchen's eyes dissipated as he smiled gently. Under normal circumstances, a sky martial realm cultivator wouldn't provoke 2 martial kings, right? When Bai Qingyue heard this, she turned her head to look at Qin Yu again. Hearing Bai Qingyue's words, the surrounding students couldn't help but nod their heads. Indeed, although Qin Yu had the ability to fight enemies above his level, but no matter how confident he was in his own strength, he wouldn't take the initiative to provoke 2 martial kings. Unless he was forced to? Qin Yu looked at Bai Qingyue in surprise. It seemed that the status of Bai Wu Commandery Prince's mansion in the Zhen Wu Empire was not low. Even Wu Xingchen, a prince, seemed to have to give Bai Qingyue some face. Now that Bai Qingyue stood up for him, Qin Yu temporarily put down his original plan. After all, he hadn't gotten the myriad poison inky snake yet, so he would let Wu Xingchen go for the time being. I have a grudge with the Lei family. The 2 of them joined forces with the Lei family to kill me, so I killed them. It's that simple. Qin Yu said lightly. Now that Bai Yangxian and the Lei family's higher-ups are all dead, you can say whatever you want. Wu Xingchen snorted and said coldly, no matter what, it's a fact that Qin Yu killed students of the same academy. According to the rules of the Saint Academy, he should get out of the way for me. At this moment, another unforeseen event occurred. A strong voice interrupted Wu Xingchen's words. When the voice came out, a powerful true spirit origin energy appeared, and the surrounding students were pushed away by a hidden force. Then, a group of people appeared in front of everyone. Chapter 61. Master Tianxiong? Looking at the person walking over, Wu Xingchen, who was angry because he was interrupted, was stunned and swallowed the words he was about to say. The person who appeared was Master Tianxiong, who was famous in the Zhenwu dynasty and the Great Eastern Territory. Master Tianxiong, why are you here? Qiming, Xuemo, and the other elders of the inner court quickly greeted him with a respectful attitude. Little friend Qin Yu, you're finally back? Master Tianxiong ignored Wu Xingchen, Qiming, Xuemo, and the others. He strode toward Qin Yu with an excited look on his face. Qin Yu was much calmer. Facing the enthusiastic Master Tianxiong, he just smiled faintly. What's going on? Wu Xingqian, Xuemo, and even Bai Qingyue were stunned when they saw Master Tianqiong's fanatical and worshipful attitude toward Qinyu. The surrounding students were so shocked that they fell into silence. Master Tianqiong was so enthusiastic toward Qinyu? Master Tianqiong was the most likely person in the Great Eastern Territory to refine a heaven-grade spiritual weapon and become a grandmaster craftsman. Even the emperor of the Zhenwu dynasty had to treat him with respect. Countless experts wanted to meet Master Tianqiong, but they had no way to do so. But now, Master Tianqiong was so enthusiastic and kind to Qinyu, and even seemed to be fawning? This Wu Xingqian and the others had no idea what was going on even if they cracked their heads. He came just in time. Among all the people present, only Yun Shi knew what was going on. Although Master Tianqiong used to be called the King of Weapons, his status was extremely high. But the most powerful spiritual weapon he had ever refined was only Earth-grade 7th grade. But this time, Master Tianqiong had refined a top Earth-grade spiritual weapon. It was said that the Earth-grade spiritual weapon was the most powerful one among the few top Earth-grade spiritual weapons in the Zhenwu dynasty. It was even comparable to an inferior heaven-grade spiritual weapon. Because of this, Master Tianqiong's status in the Zhenwu dynasty, and even in the Great Eastern Territory, had changed greatly. After all, being able to refine a spiritual weapon that was comparable to an inferior heaven artifact meant that Master Tianqiong's refining skills had reached the level of a true heaven-rank spiritual weapon. Naturally, the top experts of the Great Eastern Domain were all tempted to befriend Master Tianqiong. However, according to Yun Shi's guess, Master Tianqiong's rapid progress in refining this time was most likely due to Qin Yu's advice last time. Yun Shi didn't understand what Qin Yu meant when he said that. However, judging from Master Tianqiong's expression at that time, she could faintly guess that Qin Yu's words had definitely inspired Master Tianqiong greatly. Now that Master Tianqiong had appeared, he definitely wouldn't sit idly by and watch the second prince make a move on Qin Yu. Little friend Qin Yu, I have a few questions about refining that I'd like to ask you. I wonder if you have time now? As a Grandmaster artifact craftsman, Grandmaster Tianqiong was rubbing his hands and looking at Qin Yu with a somewhat hopeful and nervous expression. It was as if he was afraid that Qin Yu would refuse. What? Seeing this scene, Wu Xingqian and the others, who were already shocked, were even more dumbfounded and their eyes almost popped out. Master Tianqiong, who had become the most famous refining master in the Great Eastern Domain, actually wanted to ask Qin Yu for advice on refining? This incomparably inconceivable thing actually happened in front of their eyes. Qin Yu. Who on earth was he? Not only does he have amazing medical skills, but he has also reached the level of a master in refining weapons. Bai Qingyue was the first to react. Her clear and bright eyes were full of curiosity as she stared at Qin Yu. Since Master Tianqiong spoke to him as an equal and asked for advice, this meant that Qin Yu's refining skills were not below Master Tianqiong's. If so, it would be too amazing. A 16-year-old refining master, what did that mean? Even a fool would know. Sorry, I have some private matters to deal with now, Qin Yu said. Private matters? Master Tianqiong was startled. After looking back, he found that the situation on the life and death platform was somewhat unusual. It seemed that Qin Yu was being targeted? Yun family's girl, what's going on? Master Tianqiong's eyes turned and fell on Yun Shi, who was under the life and death platform. Yun Shi jumped on the life and death platform and told the whole story. Others might be afraid of the second prince's identity, but she was not. Second prince, little friend Qin Yu is this old man's best friend. I believe that he would not kill a student of the same academy for no reason. Did you not investigate this matter clearly? After hearing this, Master Tianqiong looked at Wu Xingqian with a dignified and oppressive gaze. What a joke, there was a real refining master behind Qin Yu, who might even be a great master. Wu Xingchen actually wanted to order Qin Yu to be executed. Was he tired of living? The connections of an armament grandmaster were enough to destroy an entire dynasty with just a single word. Master is right. Xingchen might have been presumptuous in this matter. I will go back and investigate it carefully. In front of Master Tianqiong, Wu Xingchen's identity as a prince did not have much weight. He was not the only prince in the royal family. However, in the entire dynasty, there was only one refining master who could be called the king of refining. Wu Xingchen naturally knew what was important and would not go against Master Tianqiong. At least, he would not do so openly. Since the matter is settled, little friend Qin Yu, let's go. Master Tianqiong turned his head and said to Qin Yu with a smile on his face. Then, Your Highness, I will leave now. Qin Yu looked at Wu Xingchen with a smile. Today's matter has disturbed Junior Qin Yu. I will definitely pay you a visit in the future. The corner of Wu Xingchen's eyes twitched, and a trace of killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. However, there was a gentle smile on his face. This guy is a smiling tiger. In the ancient dragon seal, the dragon soul's laughter was somewhat cold. Although Wu Xingchen concealed his killing intent very well, how could it be hidden from him? It doesn't matter. The most important thing now is to get the myriad poison inky flood dragon. Qin Yu glanced at Wu Xingchen, and after a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, he left with Master Tianqiong. Of course, he knew that Wu Xingchen would definitely not give up so easily. However, as long as he got the myriad poison inky flood dragon, Qin Yu would have no scruples. If Wu Xingchen still did not know what was good for him, then he would not be willing to die. Damn it! Watching Qin Yu swagger away, Wu Xingchen's right hand in his sleeve clenched into a fist. The veins on his arm bulged, and the killing intent in his heart surged. Following Qin Yu's departure, the surrounding students discussed and dispersed in twos and threes. As for the inner court elders, they had already flashed away. Today's matter must be reported to the higher-ups of the Holy Court. Second Prince, at this time, Bai Qingyue, who was about to leave, paused her footsteps and walked in front of Wu Xingchen. Princess Qingyue, are you looking for me? Even though the killing intent in his heart was raging, the gentle smile on Wu Xingchen's face did not change in the slightest. There is something that I don't know if Second Prince is willing to listen? Bai Qingyue slowly said. Princess, if you have something to say, just say it. Wu Xingchen's eyebrows moved slightly as he smiled. Second Prince should have also heard that the poison of the myriad poison inky flood dragon was neutralized by young Master Qin Yu after I went to Dragon Spirit City. But Second Prince, I'm afraid you don't know that Master Guan is also living in seclusion in Dragon Spirit City. Bai Qingyue said lightly. Master Guan is in Dragon Spirit City? The smile on Wu Xingchen's face froze, and his whole person was like a sculpture, frozen in place. Could it be that Qin Yu? So, it's better for Second Prince not to provoke Qin Yu. Bai Qingyue glanced at Wu Xingchen, turned around indifferently and left. She believed that Wu Xingchen should be able to understand the meaning of her word. A master blacksmith and a master alchemist. If Wu Xingchen still did not know what was good for him and went against Qin Yu, then this prince's position would come to an end. Chapter 62. After talking with Master Tianqiong for about an hour, Qin Yu returned to the Imperial Sacred Academy. Since Master Tianqiong had helped him today, Qin Yu also pointed out the problems Master Tianqiong encountered. Qin Yu even imparted some refining experience to Master Tianqiong. Qin Yu had been proficient in refining for a long time in his previous life, even if it was just some shallow refining experience. For Master Tianqiong, it was no less than a huge opportunity. When Qin Yu left, Master Tianqiong was still in a state of enlightenment and couldn't extricate himself. Senior Sister Yunxi, Princess. As soon as Qin Yu stepped into the Sacred Academy, he saw Bai Qingyue and Yunxi. Junior brother Qin Yu. Young Master Qin Yu. Seeing Qin Yu come back, Yunxi and Bai Qingyue both went to greet him. From the looks of it, they seemed to be waiting for Qin Yu. This scene caused many of the surrounding students of the Holy Academy to look at Qin Yu with envy and jealousy. Whether it was Bai Qingyue or Yunxi, they were both goddess-like figures in the holy courtyard. It was unknown how many students adored them. But they didn't expect that the two goddesses would personally wait for Qin Yu at the gate of the Sacred Academy. However, they didn't care about showing any hostility to Qin Yu. Not only did he kill a direct descendant of the Shui clan in front of the elders of the Shui clan, but he also dared to confront the second prince and left safely. Such a fierce person was not someone they could provoke. Junior brother Qin Yu, did you really detoxify senior sister Qingyue's myriad poison inky flood dragon? At this time, Yunxi took the lead to speak, looking at Qin Yu with bright eyes full of hope. Yes. Qin Yu nodded. Really? Then I'll go first. Hearing Qin Yu's affirmative answer, Yunxi's eyes became brighter, but she seemed to have scruples about Bai Qingyue's presence, so she didn't say anything. Looking at Yunxi leaving, Qin Yu's expression changed slightly. Did Yunxi also need him to detoxify her? Princess, it's all thanks to you that we were able to get through this. Immediately, Qin Yu cupped his fists to Bai Qingyue. Bai Qingyue happened to be here. Qin Yu wanted to find someone to inquire about the secret realm of the Sacred Academy. Although I showed up, I didn't do anything at all. Fortunately, Master Tianqiong came. Bai Qingyue brushed the hair between her eyebrows and smiled. No matter what, I still have to thank the princess. Qin Yu smiled. Since Bai Qingyue was able to stand up and help him at that time, he reckoned that even without Master Tianqiong, she wouldn't have allowed the second prince to make a move on him. Since we are all students of the Sacred Institute, don't call me princess. Bai Qingyue smiled. Okay, I'll senior sister. Bai Qingyue's also smiled. Bai's junior brother Qin Yu, I didn't expect you to be good at refining weapons in addition to medicine pills. Bai Qingyue tilted her head and looked at Qin Yu quietly. When they first met, she felt that Qin Yu was surrounded by a bottomless mystery. Now, this feeling became stronger and stronger. Just a little, Qin Yu said lightly. Master Tianqiong came to consult you in person, so it can't be a little. After today, you will be famous in the whole dynasty. Master Tianqiong's visit to consult Qin Yu had caused a great stir in the Sacred Academy. It could be imagined that when the news spread, it would cause a great shock in the Zhenwu dynasty and even the Great Eastern Territory. Qin Yu smiled faintly. His expression didn't change much about being famous in the Sacred Academy. What happened today is good for you, but it also has its disadvantages. So, you must be careful in the future. Although I've already warned the second prince, there might still be people who will take the risk. Bai Qingyue looked a little dignified. Qin Yu's refining skills were not inferior to Master Tianqiong's, but he still couldn't be compared with Master Tianqiong. Because Master Tianqiong himself was a martial venerable, other experts would only ask Master Tianqing for help if they needed a spiritual weapon. But Qin Yu was different. After all, even if Qin Yu could fight enemies above his level, his cultivation was only in the sky martial arts realm. Thank you for your reminder. Qin Yu nodded, but his expression didn't change much. With the heaven punishment array, even if someone dared to attack him, Qin Yu didn't need to be afraid. Senior Qingyue, I heard that you were poisoned by the myriad poison inky dragon in the secret realm of the Sacred Academy, right? Qin Yu changed the topic and asked about the myriad poison inky dragon. Yes. Speaking of the myriad poison inky dragon, Bai Qingyue's eyes flashed with a frightening cold light. Then I want to ask, how can I enter the secret realm of the Sacred Academy? Qin Yu asked directly. Enter the secret realm of the Sacred Academy? Bai Qingyue glanced at Qin Yu and said, according to the rules of the Sacred Academy, only the top 10 geniuses of each genius list are qualified to enter the secret realm to gain experience. The top 10 of the genius list? Hearing this, Qin Yu frowned slightly. Only in the annual Sacred Academy Assembly would there be changes on the genius list. But there was still half a year before the Sacred Academy Assembly at the end of the year. Qin Yu didn't want to wait that long. Senior Qin Yue, is there any other way to rank on the genius list besides the Sacred Academy Assembly? After thinking for a while, Qin Yu asked, "You want to challenge the genius list?" Bai Qinyue was slightly stunned. She didn't expect that Qin Yu, with his cultivation in the sky martial arts realm, would want to challenge the genius list. There is indeed another way, that is, to challenge the Sacred Academy directly. However, if you want to challenge the genius list directly, you have to start from the bottom, which is very difficult. After all, the inner yard disciples who can be on the genius list are at least in the LV5 Martial King realm. Bai Qinyue explained in detail. Although Qin Yu had the battle strength to challenge those at a higher level, Bai Qinyue still thought it was impossible for him to challenge the genius list and enter the top 10 of the genius list. After all, in the Martial King realm, there would be a huge gap in strength for each level. What's more, Qin Yu was only in the LV1 Sky Martial realm. LV5 Martial King realm? Qin Yu's eyes flickered slightly. Are you really going to challenge the genius list? Seeing Qin Yu's serious look, Bai Qinyue asked. Of course. Qin Yu didn't hide it. In that case, you might as well challenge the dragon-subduing pagoda first. Hearing this, Bai Qinyue said, Dragon-subduing pagoda? Hearing the word dragon in the ancient seal of the dragon god, the dragon's soul suddenly vibrated and spread out the perception secret skill. Where is that? Qin Yu also asked curiously. The dragon-subduing pagoda is an extremely important place in the Imperial Sacred Academy, located in the core of the inner yard. It is said that the dragon-subduing pagoda once suppressed a real dragon. Therefore, there is a huge amount of dragon chi in the dragon-subduing pagoda. If you can get the dragon chi, your cultivation will be greatly improved. Bai Qinyue said, There is dragon chi? Dragon soul, did you sense it? Qin Yu was stunned. When he entered the Sacred Academy, the dragon soul had sensed the entire Imperial City. But except for the fluctuation of dragon blood in the Imperial City, he didn't sense it anywhere else. It was impossible for the dragon soul to miss the Imperial Sacred Academy, which was so close, right? Chapter 63. I didn't sense any dragon aura. The dragon soul, which had already finished casting its perception secret technique, had a strange look in its huge dragon eyes. The dragon soul was a soul that was cultivated in the immortal ancient Shinran and could naturally sense all kinds of dragon energy. But this time, it couldn't sense anything even after using the secret technique, which made the dragon soul feel strange. It seems that I really have to take a look at the dragon-subduing pagoda. Qin Yu pondered. He had only sensed a powerful seal in the inner courtyard of the Imperial Sacred Academy, but he didn't sense any dragon aura. By the way, Senior Sister Qinyue, I have an incomplete map. I wonder if you can see the place recorded. Qin Yu was about to leave for the dragon-subduing pagoda when he thought of something and took out the ancient map that he had obtained in the ancient desolate mountain range. This ancient map contained the aura of the 9 Serenities Hell Dragon. However, Qin Yu didn't know at all what was recorded on the map. An incomplete map? Bai Qinyue took the map and looked at it carefully before shaking her head. But the 2 words 100 countries reminded me of the 100 countries battlefield. But immediately, Bai Qinyue was stunned as her gaze fell on the 2 ancient words 100 countries. 100 countries battlefield? What is that place? Qin Yu's eyes lit up. He had also let Master Tianxiong look at the ancient map when he was guiding him. But Master Tianxiong didn't have any clues, so he didn't expect Bai Qinyue to find something. The 100 countries battlefield is a training ground established by a sacred ground, Bai Qinyue explained slowly. There were 5 continents in the Heavenly Dragon continent. The great eastern region where the Zhenwu dynasty was located in Qinzhou, one of the 5 continents. There were 4 hells in Qingzhou, hundreds of martial Dao countries, and countless martial Dao forces. The 5 continents of the continent were ruled by 5 huge forces called the 5 Sacred Ground. The 100 countries battlefield was controlled by the Sacred Ground forces in Qingzhou to select the top geniuses of Qingzhou. It was a training ground established by the hundreds of martial Dao countries in Qingzhou. Only the geniuses who stood out in the 100 countries battlefield were qualified to join the Sacred Ground forces. Of course, I'm not sure if this ancient map is the 100 countries battlefield or not. However, if you have the chance, you can go and meet the dean. After explaining, Bai Qingyue said, Dean likes to collect ancient maps and other ancient objects. Maybe he knows the place recorded on this map. Qingyue, what's the relationship between the dean of the Saint Academy and the true martial royal family? Hearing that, Qingyue asked, Don't worry. Although the dean of the Sacred Institute is appointed by the royal family, he is not a member of the royal family. Even the emperor respects him as an elder. You don't have to worry about the grudge between him and the second prince. Bai Qingyue understood the meaning behind Qin Yu's words and smiled gently. Qin Yu smiled. If there was a chance, he would definitely pay a visit to the headmaster of the Sacred Academy. After all, the 9 Hells Hell Dragon was the only real clue that Qin Yu knew about the Dragon Clan. If he could obtain the 9 Serenities Hell Dragon, then Qin Yu's cultivation would definitely improve by leaps and bounds. But now, he still had to obtain the 100 Poisons Inky Flood Dragon first. Half a day later, in the core area of the inner courtyard of the Imperial Sacred Academy. That's the dragon subduing pagoda? Qin Yu stood in front of a valley and looked at the ancient pagoda in the valley with sparkling eyes. The ancient pagoda was about 100 feet tall, and it was glowing with a faint light. It looked very powerful, but it didn't emit any spiritual aura. If he didn't see it with his own eyes, he wouldn't even be able to sense it with his soul power. It's actually the 9 Palace Double Seal Array. Qin Yu could clearly sense the fluctuations of a sealing array in a radius of a few hundred feet around the dragon subduing pagoda. No wonder I couldn't sense the dragon aura. The dragon soul and the divine dragon ancient seal suddenly realized. Qin Yu, the inner courtyard students only have one chance to challenge the dragon subduing pagoda every half a year. Are you sure you want to challenge the dragon subduing pagoda now? Beside Qin Yu, the inner courtyard elder in charge of the life and death battle, Qi Ming, tilted his head and asked Qin Yu. I'm sure. Qin Yu nodded affirmatively. 1 hour ago, Qin Yu came to the inner courtyard and applied to become an inner courtyard student. Perhaps it was because of the life and death battle with Xue Tianwu, but Qin Yu was easily accepted as an inner courtyard student. The first thing Qin Yu did after becoming an inner courtyard student was to challenge the dragon subduing pagoda. Let's go. I'll send you in. Qi Ming knew Qin Yu's strength and didn't say much. He brought Qin Yu through the 9 Palace Double Seal Array and arrived before the dragon subduing pagoda. Gotcha. Qi Ming took out an ancient token and touched the mysterious energy barrier of the dragon subduing pagoda. Immediately, the doors of the dragon subduing pagoda opened and a vast aura surged over. It's indeed the dragon aura. The dragon soul's huge eyes glowed with a dazzling light. To the dragon soul, the dragon aura was much more beneficial than the dragon vein. The dragon aura is so dense. I should be able to cultivate the secret skill of the battle dragon. Qin Yu's eyes became increasingly brighter. The dragon subduing pagoda has 3 levels. As long as you can withstand the aura and walk through the first level, you will pass. On the second level, there will be many dragon aura warriors whose cultivation level is equivalent to your strongest combat strength. Qi Ming said. What about the third level? Qin Yu asked curiously. With the 9 Palace Double Seal Array, his soul perception couldn't detect the situation in the dragon subduing pagoda. I don't know what is in the third level. Since the establishment of the Royal Sacred Institute, no student or elder has entered the third level. Perhaps only the dean knows about the situation on the third level. Qi Ming shook his head slightly. As long as one had a strong will, it wouldn't be a problem to walk through the first level. However, it would be extremely difficult to pass the second level. Those dragon aura warriors were formed from the strongest combat strength of the person who entered. One should know that the strongest cultivation level and the strongest combat strength were two different levels. No one has entered until now. Interesting. After Qin Yu heard this, he revealed an interested smile. After speaking, Qin Yu took a step forward and walked into the dragon-subduing pagoda. Bang! As Qin Yu entered, the door of the dragon-subduing pagoda closed. Devour! The dragon soul, which couldn't hold back any longer, roared excitedly. It came out of the divine dragon ancient seal and sat on top of Qin Yu's head. In the next moment, the majestic dragon aura in the dragon-subduing pagoda gathered towards the dragon soul. The dragon soul's huge illusory dragon body rippled with layers of deep light. Immemorial battle dragon art. Qin Yu sat down with his legs crossed and circulated the immemorial battle dragon art. Immediately, the extremely pure dragon aura from the dragon soul poured into Qin Yu's body. In Qin Yu's dantian, golden dragon veins quickly gathered. The fourth, the fifth, the sixth. In less than 15 minutes, 10 dragon veins were formed in Qin Yu's body. In other words, Qin Yu's cultivation speed would be 10 times faster from now on. Qin Yu's cultivation level also rose to level 4 Sky Martial Realm as the dragon aura poured into his body. It's about time to cultivate the secret battle dragon art. Qin Yu formed a cultivation seal with his hands. After a series of changes, it formed a dragon seal. Around the dragon seal, there was a mysterious dragon aura circling around it. A powerful and terrifying dragon aura was quietly emitted from Qin Yu's body. Chapter 64. Roar. After 2 hours had passed, the dense dragon aura surrounding Qin Yu's body suddenly started to violently vibrate. In the next moment, a loud dragon roar resounded. Behind Qin Yu, a light cyan-colored ancient dragon appeared. It was vivid and lifelike as it stood in the sky. Its dragon's might was vast and mighty. This pale green ancient dragon was the first move of the secret skill of the fighting dragon, Heaven Battling Azure Dragon. The secret skill of the fighting dragon was the original secret skill of the primordial fighting dragon art. There were a total of 9 moves. If one comprehended all 9 moves, he would be unstoppable in the 9 heavens and 10 lands. In his previous life, Qin Yu had only comprehended 4 moves of the secret skill of the fighting dragon. Even so, when he was still a great emperor, he had relied on the secret skill of the battle dragon to kill a martial emperor, even before he became a martial emperor. If he comprehended all 9 moves, he could not imagine how powerful it would be. In terms of power, the Azure Dragon's current power is only comparable to a royal martial skill for the time being. The dragon soul that was absorbing the dragon chi looked at the pale green ancient dragon and sensed its power. It's enough? A smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. The secret skill of the fighting dragon did not have a specific rank. The higher the cultivator's cultivation, the stronger the power they could unleash. Qin Yu was only in the Sky Martial Realm, but he could already unleash the power of a royal martial skill. When he reached the Martial King Realm, the power of the secret skill of the fighting dragon would reach the Honorable Realm or even the Ancestor Realm. At the very least, in the Great Eastern Territory, the Azure Dragon was enough for Qin Yu to unleash. After mastering the secret skill of the fighting dragon, Qin Yu did not stay idle. In his mind, a profound martial skill of the fighting dragon appeared. The Shrinking Ground. Earth Shrinking, a peak emperor-level martial skill. This was something that Qin Yu had derived from a remarkable ability. If he succeeded in mastering it, he could reach the speed of a flash within a certain distance. With Qin Yu's current cultivation, it was suitable for him to practice this martial skill. After all, the 100 shadow demonic steps was only a heaven-ranked martial skill. It could no longer keep up with Qin Yu's cultivation. While Qin Yu was practicing the secret skill of the battle dragon, there were 4 figures outside the dragon pagoda, observing Qin Yu's progress in the dragon pagoda. Amongst these 4 people, there were 2 people that Qin Yu knew. It was the inner court elder, Qi Ming, and the peerlessly beautiful Bai Qingyue, who possessed an extraordinary bearing. The other 2 were young men. One had a ferocious body, an icy cold expression, and his entire body emitted a ferocious and baleful aura like a ferocious beast. If Qin Yu were here, he would definitely notice that the ferocious young man resembled Xue Tianwu. The other person was dressed in black and had an ancient sword on his back. His arms were crossed in front of his chest, and there was a faint smile on his handsome face. He seemed a little cynical. Bai Qingyue's brows twitched slightly as she looked at the uninvited and icy-cold young man and the black-clothed young man with an ancient sword. The icy-cold young man was the Xue clan's #1 genius, Xue Wudi. He was also Xue Tianwu's elder brother. Xue Wudi was ranked 4th on this year's prodigy ranking. His strength was among the top of the true martial dynasty's younger generation. As for the black-clothed young man with an ancient sword, he was currently ranked 2nd on the prodigy ranking. He was also Yun Shi's elder brother Yun Guxuan. Although Yun Guxuan was only ranked 2nd on the prodigy ranking, he was the current #1 in the Imperial Sacred Academy. As long as Yun Guxuan was willing, he could become the #1 on the prodigy ranking at any time. But for some unknown reason, Yun Guxuan had always been ranked 2nd. It was also because of this that the second prince, Wu Xingchen, and the Xue clan's strongest genius, Xue Wudi, were unable to become the #1. They were both suppressed to the 3rd and 4th places. After sizing up the 2 of them, Bai Qingyue withdrew her gaze. Xue Wudi coming to find Qin Yu was within Bai Qingyue's expectations. After all, Xue Tianwu died in the hands of Qin Yu. Even if Qin Yu and Master Tianqiong knew each other, with Xue Wudi's domineering personality, he would not let Qin Yu off so easily. However, Yun Guxuan, who was always mysterious and rarely seen, also appeared, which surprised Bai Qingyue. At this moment, Qin Yu, who was originally sitting cross-legged in the dragon-subduing pagoda, had already stood up. The light green ancient dragon around him had already expanded several times, reaching a length of 5 feet. Is this the limit? Qin Yu clenched his fist, and a bright light flashed in his eyes. That light cyan ancient dragon looks up to the sky and roars. Then it turns into a cyan beam of light and fuses with Qin Yu's forehead, leaving behind a faintly visible light cyan dragon mark. Dragon Soul, it's time to go! Qin Yu shouted and strode towards the 2nd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda. The Dragon Soul, whose cultivation had skyrocketed, immediately returned to the ancient dragon seal and began to refine the majestic dragon qi it had absorbed. The dragon qi in the 1st floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda had been plundered by Qin Yu and the Dragon Soul, so there was no need to keep it. The 2nd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda was a 1,000-mile-wide arena. On the arena there were fully armed martial artists. Their appearances could not be seen clearly, and there were no signs of life. However, there was an astonishing dragon qi circling around every martial artist's body. As Qin Yu stepped forward, those martial artists who were originally like stone woke up at this moment, and there was a majestic aura rising from their bodies. It started from Qin Yu's level 4 Sky Martial Realm, to level 8 Sky Martial Realm, to level 1 Martial King Realm, to level 3 Martial King Realm, and finally to level 5 Martial King Realm. Only then did the surging aura of those warriors gradually stop. Level 5 Martial King Realm. Qin Yu's lips curled into a smile. It seemed that the array on the 2nd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda was still unable to detect the existence of the heaven-punishing killing intent, and could not accurately determine his true strength. Qin Yu, who had reached level 4 Sky Martial Realm, had a combat strength that was far above level 5 Martial King realm. Dragon Soul, prepare to devour the Dragon Chi, Qin Yu said indifferently. He took a step forward, and as if he had teleported, he appeared in front of a martial artist. Swoosh! Qin Yu's right hand turned into a saber, and with a slash, the martial artist's head was chopped off easily. With Qin Yu's current cultivation, it could be said that dealing with a level 5 Martial King realm martial artist was a piece of cake. Bang bang bang, immediately after, Qin Yu shrunk the ground into an inch, and like a ghost, he shuttled between the martial artists. Wherever he passed, all the martial artists died, and no one survived. The dragon soul turned into thousands of dragon shadows, and devoured the dragon chi of all the martial artists. At this moment its cultivation soared again. In less than half an incense stick's time, all the martial artists with dragon chi on the square were killed. With the enormous amount of dragon chi entering his body, Qin Yu's cultivation broke through another 2 levels, reaching level 6 Sky Martial Realm. This is stepping into the 3rd level? Outside the dragon-suppressing pagoda, Qi Ming, Bai Qingyue, Shui Wudi, and Yun Guxuan, who were paying attention to Qin Yu's progress, were extremely shocked. He can actually pass through the 2nd level of the dragon-suppressing pagoda so quickly. Yun Guxuan came back to his senses, and his eyes narrowed. It seemed that Qin Yu had secrets on him. How is this possible? Could it be that something happened to the array on the 2nd level of the dragon-suppressing pagoda? Shui Wudi's eyes widened in disbelief. He had also tried to pass through the dragon-suppressing pagoda, and even knew the difficulty of the 2nd level. After all, he had to deal with thousands of people with the same combat strength. No matter how strong Qin Yu's combat strength was impossible for him to pass through the 2nd level of the dragon-suppressing pagoda so easily. What kind of monster is this? Even Bai Qingyue and Qi Ming, who had seen Qin Yu kill a martial king, were still shocked by the scene before them. The 3rd level of the dragon-suppressing pagoda was a gray space, and the visibility was relatively small. But after Qin Yu came up, his gaze suddenly froze as he looked at the void in front of him. This is Extermination Ghost Eyes. Chapter 65. In this gray space there was a huge eyeball floating in the air. The eyeball was 100 feet wide and was completely black. It was surrounded by mysterious spiritual runes. As it closed and closed, a strange light flickered. An evil aura was emitted from the pitch-black eyeball. It made one's heart palpitate. That's strange. Why would the Ghost Clan's supreme eye technique be sealed here? The dragon soul that revolved around Qin Yu was also sizing up that pitch-black eye with astonishment. The Ghost Eye of Extermination was a supreme eye technique of the Ghost Clan. It was rumored that it could break all techniques and seal all spirit. However, the Ghost Eye of Extermination was extremely rare even in the Ghost Clan. Very few people succeeded in cultivating it. Yet, there was a Ghost Eye of Extermination sealed in the dragon-subduing pagoda. Who was the person who built the dragon-subduing pagoda? Who cares what the reason is? Since it has been sealed, it must be impossible to subdue it. Qin Yu's eyes sparkled. Since they can't be subdued, it belongs to me. Swoosh. At this moment, the Ghost Eye of Extermination immediately looked at Qin Yu when he arrived. The eyeball flashed, and a pitch-black light streaked across the sky and attacked Qin Yu. Clang! There was a slight ripple in the sky. Just as the pitch-black light was about to hit Qin Yu, it was blocked by an invisible dragon aura. A dignified supreme eye technique of the ghost race is sealed here like a tiger in a cage and a dragon in a well. This is too much of a waste of a heavenly treasure. Let me take you in. Sensing that the Ghost Eye of Extermination was extremely weak, Qin Yu laughed. His figure flashed, and he pounced at lightning speed. Boom! The Ghost Eye of Extermination locked onto Qin Yu, allowing Qin Yu to dodge quickly. Rays of extermination, rays capable of destroying all things, were all bombarding Qin Yu with incomparable precision. However, they were all blocked by Qin Yu's dragon aura. Although the dragon aura was instantly destroyed, it helped Qin Yu to neutralize the ghost eye of extermination. 4 spirits sealing formation? When Qin Yu approached the ghost extermination eye, intending to seal it, a restriction suddenly appeared and sent Qin Yu flying several dozen zhang. At the same time, a powerful aura suddenly appeared on the 3rd floor of the dragon subduing pagoda. The dragon's soul instantly sensed it and immediately entered the ancient seal of the divine dragon. Qin Yu tilted his head to take a look. He saw a spirited old man wearing a gray gown walking over. I didn't expect that someone would be able to reach the 3rd floor of the dragon subduing pagoda. The gray-robed old man's deep gaze landed on Qin Yu. Senior, are you also from the Sacred Institute? Qin Yu was also sizing up the gray-robed elder. This old man's cultivation had definitely surpassed that of a martial emperor. He had reached the martial honorable realm, or even higher. This old man is Xiang, the gray-robed old man said. Xiang? Qin Yu's expression changed slightly. The dean of the Sacred Institute. Xiang was the current dean of the Royal Sacred Academy, and he was in charge of the law enforcement of the Sacred Academy. Xiang held an important position in the Zhenwu dynasty and the Zhenwu royal family. It was rumored that he had been in seclusion. Unexpectedly, he had been living in seclusion in the dragon subduing pagoda. Could it be that he wanted to guard the ghost extermination eye? Just now, you seem to want to touch that eye. Do you know what it is? Xiang turned his head and looked at the ghost extermination eye. There was a hint of helplessness in his deep gaze. The ghost clan's eye technique, the ghost extermination eye. Qin Yu said indifferently. How do you know? Xiang's body stiffened. He immediately turned his head and looked at Qin Yu. Not only do I know that it is the ghost extermination eye, but I also have a way to take it away. Qin Yu turned his head and looked directly at Xiang. He smiled. He had already seen through it. The ghost extermination eye had been sealed here. Obviously, no one in the Imperial Sacred Institute or the Zhenwu royal family could subdue it, so they could only seal it. Moreover, they had to use the power of the dragon subduing pagoda to guard it at all times to prevent it from going berserk. Otherwise, there was no reason for the Zhenwu royal family and the Imperial Sacred Institute to seal such a powerful combat power. Really? Xiang squinted his eyes. There was a flicker in his eyes. He was obviously excited and doubtful. After all, Qin Yu was only in the sky martial realm. Even martial venerables and martial grandmasters could not do this. He found it hard to believe that Qin Yu was confident that he could subdue the ghost extermination eye. Wait for me to give it a try, Principal Zhang, you'll know. However, if I succeed in taking away the extermination ghost eye, I hope that Principal Zhang can agree to a condition of mine. Qin Yu chuckled. He looked confident. What condition? Xiang's interest was piqued. He had mentioned a condition before making a move. Moreover, he could see that the ghost extermination eye was a threat to the Sacred Institute. This kid was a little interesting. I hope that the Sacred Institute will open the Sacred Institute's secret realm in advance after I get out, Qin Yu said. It is possible to open the Sacred Institute's secret realm in advance, but the Sacred Institute has a strict rule. Only the top geniuses on the genius ranking of the inner yard can enter. With your cultivation, even if the Sacred Institute's secret realm is opened in advance, you will not be able to enter. Don't expect me to cheat. Xiang was surprised by Qin Yu's condition. After sensing carefully again, he found that Qin Yu's cultivation was indeed only in the 6th level of the sky martial realm. As long as the Sacred Institute's secret realm is opened in advance, I will fight my way up to the genius ranking. Qin Yu smiled confidently and entered the ghost extermination eye's attack range again. Swoosh! Swoosh! Swoosh. Beams of ghost extermination eyes light attacked Qin Yu again with destructive power. However, they were still unable to stop Qin Yu's footsteps. They allowed Qin Yu to easily walk past them. Dragon Qi? This boy's genuine origin energy has been integrated with strong dragon Qi? Xiang, who had been observing Qin Yu's movements, was surprised. What cultivation technique is he practicing? How can he directly refine dragon Qi into genuine origin energy? Wait, however, Xie Ying's expression changed in the next moment. He immediately shouted, but it was too late. Break! Qin Yu, who had walked to the ghost extermination eye, stretched out his hand and moved quickly around the ghost extermination eye. In the blink of an eye, he pointed out 99 fingers. The finger shadows overlapped, so fast that people could not see them clearly. Crack! There was a sound like glass breaking, and the surrounding restriction immediately disintegrated. The ghost extermination eye completely appeared in front of Qin Yu. A vast pressure with an evil aura swept in all directions. It was like a fierce sword that had been sleeping for many years had been unsheathed, as if it wanted to slaughter the world. Oh no! When he saw the spiritual tattoos around the ghost extermination eye, a strange, evil, and destructive light flashed in the eye like a fierce ghost opening its eyes. Xie Ying immediately rushed forward, intending to seal the ghost extermination eye again. At this moment, Xie Ying was very regretful. If he had known, he would not have let Qin Yu act recklessly. Of course, while he was regretting, he was also very shocked. The sealing formation that he had specially asked a formation grandmaster to set up was easily shattered by Qin Yu's finger. This greatly exceeded Xie Ying's expectations. One must know that the Four Spirits seal was something that even he would not be able to break. However, what happened next shocked Xie Ying even more. Qin Yu's eyes suddenly became majestic, as if he had become a different person. He exuded the aura of a ruler. At this moment, even Xie Ying felt like worshipping him. The pressure that Qin Yu exuded was too terrifying. It was as if he was the ruler of the universe. Chapter 66. Surrender or Die. A dignified, indifferent and unquestionable dignified voice came out from Qin Yu's mouth. The ghost eye of extermination, which was about to burst out the light of destruction like a rampaging demonic beast, was now trembling like a frightened animal. The ghost eye of extermination had its own intelligence. With intelligence, it naturally knew life and death. In front of the pressure of Qin Yu's previous life as a sovereign master, the ghost eye of extermination naturally felt an overwhelming sense of death. If it didn't want to die, it could only surrender. Immediately, under Xie Ying's horrified gaze, the spiritual inscriptions on the ghost eye of extermination completely dissipated and floated in front of Qin Yu. Withdraw, Qin Yu said in a low voice. The ghost eye of extermination immediately turned into a black light and entered his right eye. In the depths of Qin Yu's eye, a golden dragon shadow appeared and quickly merged with the ghost eye of extermination. Success! Qin Yu smiled. With this ghost eye of extermination, his combat strength would be raised to another level. Moreover, the power of the ghost eye of extermination would gradually recover and become stronger. It might become a major force for Qin Yu in the future. At this moment, the vast oppressive might on Qin Yu's body disappeared. In Xie Ying's eyes, Qin Yu became a young man again. He was no longer the dominator who controlled the heavens. Just now what happened? Xie Ying's eyes were filled with surprise and doubt. He couldn't help but ask Qin Yu. This is a secret technique that my master passed on to me. Forgive me for not being able to say more. Qin Yu made up an excuse. Xiang had probably been guarding the dragon-subduing pagoda, so he didn't know what was going on outside. When he got out, he would definitely inquire about him. At that time, this excuse would become a credible one. Whether it was Master Guyuan, Master Tianqiong, or by Qingyue, they all believed that there was a strong master behind him. Xiang took a deep look at Qin Yu, but didn't ask further. He did intend to understand Qin Yu's situation in detail before making any further plans. After all, even though the ghost eye of annihilation had been taken away, there was no need to worry about the ghost eye of annihilation going berserk again. However, with the power of the ghost eye of extermination, if it was given to someone with ulterior motives, it would be intolerable. After a short conversation, Qin Yu left the dragon-subduing pagoda. This time, he had not only raised his cultivation by 6 levels, but he had also obtained the ghost eye of extermination. It could be said that he had reaped a bountiful harvest. Strange, why can't I see any movement from the 3rd floor? Did he pass it or not? At this moment, outside the dragon pagoda. As the news of Qin Yu passing through the 2nd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda and entering the 3rd floor spread, countless inner courtyard students gathered outside the pagoda to watch. Unfortunately, they were unable to see the situation on the 3rd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda. Crack! Suddenly, the heavy doors of the dragon-subduing pagoda opened, and a tall figure walked out with firm steps. It was Qin Yu. He's out. Success? Or have you failed? I don't know. No one has ever been to the 3rd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda. Seeing Qin Yu appear, the surrounding students' eyes all fell on Qin Yu, and they were in a heated discussion. What's the situation on the 3rd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda? A burst of elegant fragrance blew over, and Bai Qingyue appeared in front of Qin Yu. Her fair and beautiful face was filled with curiosity. My cultivation is too low, so I was kicked out as soon as I entered. Qin Yu smiled faintly. As for the fact that the 3rd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda was used to seal the ghost eye of extermination, Xie Ying had specially told Qin Yu not to spread the news. Although he did not know the reason, Qin Yu needed Xie Ying's help to enter the secret realm of the Saint Academy, so he naturally would not have any objections. Hearing Qin Yu's words, the surrounding inner courtyard students who were eavesdropping were greatly disappointed. They wanted to know what was on the 3rd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda. A trace of ridicule appeared on Xue Wudi's face. Sure enough, cultivation was the foundation of everything. Even if Qin Yu could pass the 2nd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda, without a strong cultivation, it would be futile. On the other hand, Yun Guxuan's eyes were shining faintly, and he did not comment on Qin Yu's words. Junior Qin Yu, when you enter the martial king realm, you will definitely be able to enter the 3rd floor. As if afraid that Qin Yu would be discouraged, Bai Qingyue smiled and encouraged him. By the way, Senior Qingyue, if you have time, you'd better prepare. The secret realm of the Saint Academy will open soon. Hearing Bai Qingyue's words, Qin Yu smiled and said, The secret realm of the Saint Academy will open soon? No way? Bai Qingyue was stunned. The secret realm of the Saint Academy would only open when the Saint Academy Assembly re-established the genius list. Now it was far from the time. You are Qin Yu? Just as Qin Yu was about to say something, an ice-cold voice suddenly sounded. What appeared next was a murderous aura that was so strong that it was almost tangible. Qin Yu slightly tilted his head and saw Xue Wudi staring at him coldly, striding over. He is Xue Tianwu's elder brother, Xue Wudi, ranked 4th on the genius list. Bai Qingyue explained softly. Although Xue Wudi's background and strength were the best in the Saint Academy, Bai Qingyue was not afraid at all. If he had not been poisoned and wasted 2 years, Xue Wudi's 4th place on the genius list would have been uncertain. What, do you want to avenge your brother? Hearing Bai Qingyue's words, Qin Yu was slightly enlightened. No wonder he looked similar to Xue Tianwu, so they were brothers. A life for a life, this is the right thing to do. You must pay for my brother's life. In Xue Wudi's cold eyes, there was a strong murderous intent surging. Xue Wudi, your brother died in the life and death arena. According to the Saint Academy's rules, no matter who died in the life and death arena, no revenge can be taken. At this moment, Yun Guxuan, who was wearing a black robe and carrying an ancient sword, walked over. Qin Yu looked at Yun Guxuan with a somewhat astonished expression. He did not know Yun Guxuan's identity until Bai Qingyue explained. It seemed that Yun Shi's strange expression that day was really because he had something to ask of him. Yun Guxuan, this is a personal grudge between our Shui clan and him. It has nothing to do with you, right? Shui Wudi frowned. When Yun Guxuan appeared before him, he felt a little strange. However, Yun Guxuan had always been a loner and had never made friends with anyone, so he did not care. However, he did not expect Yun Guxuan to help Qin Yu at this moment. This was beyond Shui Wudi's expectation. If you attack Junior Qin Yu, it is equivalent to attacking me. If you use your Shui clan's power to take revenge, it will be regarded as a declaration of war against the Yun family fort. You should think about it carefully. Yun Guxuan said lightly. Hearing Yun Guxuan's words, Shui Wudi's face became extremely ugly. He stared at Yun Guxuan and clenched his fists. Violent, murderous intent gathered around him. However, he was afraid of Yun Guxuan's words and did not dare to attack. What kind of force is the Yun family fort? Noticing Shui Wudi's strong restraint of his murderous intent, Qin Yu asked Bai Qingyue curiously. There are 13 major forces in Qingzhou. Although they are located in various martial nations, they are not controlled by the martial nations. They are called the 13 castles of Qingzhou. The 13 castles of Qingzhou are ancient forces. Although they are not martial nations, they are not weaker than the royal family of martial nations. The Yun family fort is one of the 13 castles. Bai Qingyue explained. Chapter 67. A force comparable to the martial country's royal family. Qin Yu suddenly realized why Wu Wudi didn't dare to offend Yun Guxuan even though he had the Shui clan as his backing. The other students started to discuss among themselves. Yun Guxuan's identity wasn't a secret in the inner court. They wanted to see if Shui Wudi dared to fight Yun Guxuan. However, they were also curious about the relationship between Qin Yu and the Yun family fort for Yun Guxuan to protect Qin Yu. Why are you all here instead of cultivating? At this moment, a figure flew out from the dragon-subduing pagoda and stood in the air. Dean. Seeing the figure, the surrounding inner court students immediately bowed. Even Shui Wudi and Yun Guxuan, who were at loggerheads with each other, bowed respectfully. Since you are all here, I have something to tell you. The Sacred Academy's secret realm will open in 3 days. The rules are the same as before. Only the top 10 are qualified to enter. After he finished saying those words, Xie Ying took a glance at Qin Yu. With a flash, he disappeared. Junior brother Qin Yu, you managed to convince the headmaster? Bai Qingyue was stunned and looked at Qin Yu in disbelief. The dean used to be a disciplinary elder and had always been strict with the Sacred Academy's rules. She couldn't figure out how Qin Yu managed to convince the dean. Prepare well. I'm going to challenge the prodigy role. Qin Yu smiled and didn't explain. Challenge the prodigy role? Shui Wudi's eyes flashed when he heard the conversation between Qin Yu and Bai Qingyue. The dean said that the secret realm would open in 3 days, but Qin Yu wanted to challenge the prodigy role at this time. Wasn't it obvious that Qin Yu wanted to enter the Sacred Academy's secret realm? Thinking of this, Shui Wudi looked at Qin Yu eerily and turned to leave. With Yun Guxuan's help, he couldn't attack Qin Yu. It was better to go back and prepare if he continued to waste time here. If Qin Yu really entered the secret realm of the Sacred Academy, his chance would come. The secret realm of the Sacred Academy was not a safe place. Many geniuses had died in there in the past. The rest of the students also left while chatting amongst themselves due to the dean's sudden order. Bai Qingyue glanced at Yun Guxuan, who hadn't moved, and said a few words to Qin Yu before turning around to leave. Thank you for your help, senior. Qin Yu cupped his fists towards Yun Guxuan. No matter what, Yun Guxuan had indeed helped him. Why do I feel like you're not afraid of Shui Wudi even if I don't do anything? Yun Guxuan looked at Qin Yu. His original plan was indeed to make Qin Yu owe him a favor. However, Qin Yu didn't show any fear when facing Shui Wudi earlier. Yun Guxuan recognized that calm look. It was a display of confidence. This was also what surprised Yun Guxuan. Could it be that Qin Yu, who was only at LV6 Sky Martial Realm, had the strength to fight Shui Wudi, who was at LV9 Martial King Realm? If so, then Qin Yu's combat strength was too shocking. "Senior, why are you looking for me?" Qin Yu smiled noncommittally. With his current strength, he was not afraid of Shui Wudi, who was at LV9 Martial King Realm. After coming out of the secret realm of the Sacred Academy, Qin Yu was ready to leave the Zhen Wu dynasty. At that time, it was not just Shui Wudi, but the entire Shui clan. "Junior Qin Yu, I heard from Yunxi that you were the one who detoxified Princess by Qingyue's poison?" Hearing this, Yun Guxuan's expression turned serious as he asked seriously. "That's right." Qin Yu nodded slightly. It seemed that the situation was as he had predicted. Yunxi really did need his help to detoxify the poison. "Then, do you know anything about the blood mist goo poison?" Yun Guxuan's expression was solemn, and there was unconcealable hope in his eyes. Blood mist goo poison, one of the 7 poisons of the Gu Dao? Qin Yu was surprised. The 7 poisons of the Gu Dao were extremely rare even in the Qian domain. Because the poisons of the Gu Dao were cultivated by martial artists, they were not naturally produced. First, there was the Ghost Clan's Ghost Eye of Destruction, and now there were the 7 poisons of the Gu Dao. It seemed that he had underestimated this continent. "That's right, it's one of the 7 poisons of the Gu Dao." Yun Guxuan became excited and asked quickly, "Junior Qin Yu, do you know how to detoxify it?" "That depends on which system of the blood mist goo poison it is," Qin Yu said. "Which system? Are there many types of blood mist goo poison?" Yun Guxuan was stunned. Although he had read countless ancient books, he still did not understand what Qin Yu was talking about. The blood mist goo poison has 7 major systems, namely yin-yang and the 5 element. Only by knowing which one of the 7 poison systems it is, can you concoct the antidote. If the poison is wrong, then the antidote will become a fatal poison pill and cause the poison to erupt. Qin Yu explained. Yin-yang and the 5 elements? Yun Guxuan's expression changed. Then, what if it is a mixed poison of the 7 major systems? Although it was the first time he heard that the blood mist goo poison had 7 major systems of yin-yang and the 5 element. But he had seen the blood mist goo poison with his own eyes and knew that it was likely to be a mixed poison. If it is a mixed poison, then it is not something that can be detoxified with a simple antidote. Hearing that, Qin Yu slightly shook his head. The blood mist goo poison was not something that the 10,000 poison ink dragon's poison could compare to. Once the poisons of the 7 major systems were mixed, it was impossible to mix them with just the power of a pill. It had to be combined with a corresponding secret method to completely detoxify it. If it was just concocting an antidote, it would be a simple matter and Qin Yu would even help. But if it was a mixed poison, then he would have to go to the Yun family fort. Qin Yu did not have the time. Junior Qin Yu, the Yun family fort is one of the 13 forts of the Qin province and has been passed down for nearly 1,000 years. Our ancestor had even stepped into the supreme realm of Wu Sheng. As long as you can detoxify the blood mist goo poison, then the Yun family fort will be indebted to you. No matter what conditions you have, the Yun family fort will definitely fulfill them. Yun Guxuan saw Qin Yu's expression and roughly guessed Qin Yu's thoughts, so he quickly said, "Wu Sheng?" Qin Yu's expression changed slightly and he started to take the Yun family fort seriously. Wu Sheng was considered a powerhouse in the Qin Yun region. The Yun family fort's ancestor actually had Wu Sheng. It seemed that its foundation was really extraordinary. "I want dragon blood." After thinking for a while, Qin Yu did not stand on ceremony and said directly, The immemorial fighting dragon incantation could refine everything that contained dragon blood. However, as the host's cultivation increased, the requirement for dragon blood would also increase. After Qin Yu obtained the myriad poison inky flood dragon, he would advance to Martial King. At that time, ordinary dragon blood would not be of much use to him. Therefore, after obtaining the myriad poison inky flood dragon, Qin Yu's target had to be real dragon blood. At the very least, it could not be lower than the myriad poison inky flood dragon. Otherwise, it would not be of much use to Qin Yu's cultivation. Dragon blood? Yun Guxuan's gaze froze and he stood there in a daze. He knew that Qin Yu's conditions would not be simple, but he did not expect that what Qin Yu wanted was dragon blood. One must know that on the heavenly dragon continent, dragons were creatures that only existed in legends. Only in the most ancient books could one find some rumors related to dragons. Qin Yu's conditions had stumped Yun Guxuan, who was originally full of confidence. Chapter 68. Looks like there's no hope for the Yun family fort? The dragon soul in the divine dragon ancient seal saw Yun Guxuan's expression and knew that there was no dragon blood in the Yun family fort. Otherwise, based on what Yun Guxuan had said earlier, that the removal of the blood mist goo poison was a favor to the Yun family fort, even if it was dragon blood, he would at most hesitate and not be stunned. After entering the Sacred Academy's secret realm and subduing the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon, I'll have to use all my strength to find out what's recorded on the ancient map. Qin Yu was not very disappointed. With the martial arts standards of the heavenly dragon continent, it should be considered a great fortune to be able to obtain clues about a dragon. Unfortunately, Qin Yu had shown the ancient map to Xie Ying before. Xie Ying could only deduce that the ancient map might record the 100 countries battlefield. However, Xie Ying did not know where exactly it was. If the ancient map really recorded the 100 countries battlefield, then, no matter how big the 100 countries battlefield was, Qin Yu was confident that he could find it. However, if it was not the 100 countries battlefield, it would be troublesome to find the recorded location. Junior Qin Yu, dragon blood is really too rare. Let alone the Yun family fort, I'm afraid that even the entire Qingzhou would not be able to obtain dragon blood. Can you change your condition? After Yun Guxuan regained his senses, he said to Qin Yu in a somewhat hesitant manner. Yun Guxuan had investigated Qin Yu's identity quite a bit. Not only did he have a good relationship with Master Tianqiong, but he was also inextricably linked with Master Gyuan. Even the Yun family fort would not dare to provoke the connections of a master blacksmith and a master alchemist. There was no need to mention the fact that there might be even more powerful existences behind Qin Yu. Apart from dragon blood, I really don't care about anything else. How about this? If the Yun family fort knows the whereabouts of the dragon blood, I can also help to detoxify it. Qin Yu thought for a while and settled for the next best thing. Information about dragon blood. Yun Guxuan pondered for a moment before nodding his head heavily. I will inform my family of this matter. Regardless of whether or not there is news of the dragon blood, I will give you an answer as soon as possible. After he finished saying those words, Yun Guxuan bowed to Qin Yu and then quickly turned around and left. Compared to dragon blood, the difficulty of obtaining information about dragon blood was much lower. Qin Yu didn't stay for long. After leaving the Dragon Pagoda, he immediately challenged the prodigy list. As for the Yun family fort, Qin Yu didn't pay much attention to it. It would be best if there was news of dragon blood, but even if there wasn't, it wouldn't be a loss to him. The most important thing now was to prepare for the task of subduing the myriad poison's inky flood dragon. Dong dong dong, as Qin Yu challenged the Tianjiao list, 7 long bells rang throughout the Saint Academy. The geniuses on the prodigy roll, as long as they were in the Sacred Institute, immediately left and gathered at the inner yard martial arts practice field. The 7 ancient bells meant that someone had challenged the Tianjiao list and had passed the assessment of the Saint Academy. All the geniuses on the Tianjiao list had to gather. In the inner yard martial arts practice field, Qin Yu, who was dressed in white, stood calmly in the middle of the field. Around the martial arts practice field, in addition to the inner yard students, many outer yard students had gathered. In the Royal Sacred Institute, it was rare to see someone challenge the Tianjiao list directly. Qin Yu? It's him again. This guy is really restless. Indeed, he hasn't stopped since he entered the Sacred Institute. When they saw that the person who challenged the Tianjiao list was Qin Yu, a heated discussion broke out. Since everyone is here, let's challenge according to the ranking of the Tianjiao list, from the lowest to the highest. The elder who was in charge of the Tianjiao list was Elder Lu from the Punishment Institution, whom Qin Yu had met once when he had just entered the Sacred Institute. As Elder Lu's voice fell, the geniuses who had already lined up jumped out immediately. Please enlighten me. It was an ordinary-looking young man with 2 swords in his hands. His cultivation was at the peak of LV5 Martial King realm. Please. Qin Yu did not use the hell-suppressing divine spear. He simply clenched his right hand into a fist. Although Qin Yu's cultivation was only at LV6 Sky Martial Realm, the young man with 2 swords was not careless at all. Anyone who could be recognized by the Sacred Institute and challenge the Tianjiao list directly was not an ordinary person. He was ranked last on the Tianjiao list. Once he lost, he would be eliminated, so he had to give it his all. Whoosh, whoosh. The young man with 2 swords turned his genuine essence into wings and attacked from above. The 2 swords in his hands intertwined and formed a sword net, which completely blocked Qin Yu. There was nowhere for him to escape. Break. Qin Yu took a step forward with his left foot and punched with his right fist. 3 rays of fist radiance with destructive power bombarded the air. The first ray of fist radiance shattered the sword net. The second ray of fist radiance broke the young man's genuine essence shield. The third ray of fist radiance defeated the young man. This was the second level of the destructive divine fist, 9 heaven-shattering fists, which was equivalent to a Peak King martial technique. Qin Yu wins. Elder Lu looked at Qin Yu in astonishment. A LV6 Sky Martial Realm martial artist defeated a LV5 Martial King Realm martial artist with 1 punch. His combat strength was too shocking. So powerful. Qin Yu's aptitude is probably more terrifying than Senior Yun Guxuan's. The surrounding students, regardless of whether they were from the outer or inner courtyard or the elders, were all shocked. He actually became so powerful? Yun Shi, Bai Qinyue, Qi Ming and the others were even more shocked. The current Qin Yu was completely different from when he had challenged Xue Wudi. Qin Yu must die. In the crowd, Xue Mo, who was watching from the sidelines, had an intense killing intent in his eyes. Only 2 days had passed since Qin Yu had challenged Xue Tianwu. In just 2 days, Qin Yu's strength had actually increased so much. This was too terrifying. If Qin Yu didn't die, their Xue clan would never have a day of peace. Bang! In the midst of the shocking discussions below the stage, the second battle had already ended. Qin Yu still won with a single punch. Immediately after, the 3rd battle, the 4th battle, the 5th battle, the 10th battle, the 11th battle, the 12th battle, the 20th battle, the 21st battle, the 22nd battle. In a row of 5 battles, Qin Yu won with a single punch. The original heated discussion gradually quieted down after Qin Yu had surpassed a realm and won easily. In the end, it became so silent that even the sound of a pin dropping could be heard. Everyone was looking at the indifferent Qin Yu in white with a shocked expression. At this moment, even the inner courtyard elders of the Sacred Academy couldn't help but be impressed by Qin Yu's performance. There were only 50 students in the Heaven's Pride roll, and every one of them was the elite of the elites of the Sacred Academy. But now, in the hands of Qin Yu, who was in the Sky Martial Realm, half of them had already lost. It could be said that Qin Yu had already created a record in the Sacred Academy. Even in the history of the Sacred Academy, there had never been such a monstrous genius. This child is already a dragon in the sky. His future achievements are limitless. Beside the inner courtyard martial arts practice field, the dean of the Sacred Academy, Xiang, was also paying attention to Qin Yu's challenge. The more he watched, the more shocked he was. The shock that Qin Yu gave him was even more shocking than when Qin Yu had subdued the ghost eye of extermination. Finally, a genius who can compete with the heaven's pride of the 100 countries has appeared in our Sacred Academy. Chapter 69. Imperial City, Shui Clan. Patriarch, young patriarch. News from the Sacred Institute says that Qin Yu has made it to the top 10 on the genius list. A martial king wearing armor with the symbol of the Shui clan walked briskly into the hall and reported respectfully. I didn't expect him to make it to the top 10 on the genius list with his sky martial realm cultivation. The patriarch of the Shui clan, Shui Qingtian, and Shui Wudi were both shocked when they heard the news. The weakest of the top 10 on the genius list of the Imperial Sacred Institute was LV8 Martial King Realm. Qin Yu was only at LV6 Sky Martial Realm, but he was able to defeat a LV8 Martial King Realm cultivator. The 9th Elder also sent a secret letter. The Martial King took out a secret letter as he spoke. Shui Qingtian took the letter and opened it. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Father, is Qin Yu really going to enter the Sacred Institute's secret realm? Shui Wudi asked when he saw the change in Shui Qingtian's expression. Yes, as you have guessed, Qin Yu will enter the Imperial Secret Realm in 3 days. Shui Qingtian nodded slightly. The contents of 9th Elder Shui Mo's secret letter were for the clan to take advantage of this opportunity to kill Qin Yu in the secret realm, no matter what. If Qin Yu continued to grow, the Shui clan would be in danger. He's digging his own grave. Shui Wudi smiled ferociously as his killing intent spread out. If Yun Guxuan hadn't stopped him, he would have attacked Qin Yu in the Imperial Sacred Institute. This is an opportunity. We can't fail. Shui Qingtian's deep eyes flashed with a cold light. The grudge between them couldn't be resolved. Qin Yu must die. Imperial City, Imperial Palace. Qin Yu has made it to the top 10 on the genius list and is going to enter the Imperial Sacred Institute? Wu Xingchen, who was meditating, opened his eyes when he heard the report from the guard. LV6 Sky Martial Realm? LV6 in 2 days? Did he find something on the 3rd floor of the dragon-subduing pagoda? That's not right. One's cultivation can be raised through external means, but one's combat prowess can't be increased by so much. What's going on? Looking at the information in his hand, Wu Xingchen's eyes narrowed as he muttered to himself. Your Highness, the Shui clan seems to have made a move. The guard who was kneeling on one knee reported meaningfully. Shui clan? Wu Xingchen's eyes flashed and he immediately understood. The Sacred Institute's secret realm is completely sealed. It seems like Qin Yu is doomed this time. Pass down my order. This prince is going into seclusion and won't be participating in the Sacred Academy's secret realm. The corner of Wu Xingchen's mouth revealed a cold smile. The forces behind Qin Yu were entangled with Master Tianqiong and Master Guiyuan. Now that the Shui clan had made a move, he naturally couldn't get involved. 3 days passed in a flash. In front of a hidden ancient cave in the inner courtyard of the Imperial Sacred Academy, Xiang, the dean of the Sacred Institute, stood with his hands behind his back. In front of Xiang were Yun Guxuan, Shui Wudi, Qin Yu, Bai Qingyue, and the rest of the top 10 rankers of the prodigy list. But out of the 10 spots, only 8 had arrived. The second prince, Wu Xingchen, wasn't here. As for the first place of the prodigy list, it had always been empty. Since everyone is here, let's go. Xiang looked at the 8 strongest geniuses of the Sacred Institute and nodded in satisfaction. Then he led the 8 into the ancient cave. At the end of the cave, there was a huge spiritual disk that was dozens of feet long. It was a 9-palace array. As Dean Xie spun on the spiritual disk, a teleportation array formed by runes intertwined in the void. Go in. When the teleportation array formed, Xie signaled for the 8 to enter. Immediately, Yun Guxuan took the lead. Xue Wudi, Qin Yu, and Bai Qingyue all jumped into the teleportation array and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Before Qin Yu opened his eyes, a hurricane-like sound entered his ears. Bang! Qin Yu clenched his right hand into a fist and punched in the direction of the hurricane. The faint black battle dragon true energy turned into 9 shocking fist lights and blasted out like lightning. A series of violent explosions followed by the sorrowful cry of a ferocious beast. Qin Yu opened his eyes and found that he was in a stone forest. On his left, there was a ferocious beast that was 3 feet long and covered in pitch-black scales. A 7th-level sky martial realm scaled beast. But at this time, the scaled beast's huge head was pierced and it was lying motionless in a pool of blood. This secret realm should be formed by the 9-palace array. Can the dragon's soul sense where the 10,000 poison ink dragon is hiding? Qin Yu jumped to the highest stone forest and looked into the distance. When he entered, Qin Yu felt the fluctuation of a secret realm from the 9-palace spiritual disk. This secret realm should be in the 9-palace spiritual disk. Since it was a 9-palace array, this secret realm should also have a 9-palace area. I can't sense it within 1,000 miles. It seems that I need to use a secret technique. Just as the dragon soul was about to use the secret technique, a sound of wind breaking appeared. Qin Yu turned his head and saw a figure flying over from the distance. Junior brother Qin Yu, it's really you. The person flying over was Bai Qingyue with a smile. Senior sister Qingyue, what a coincidence, you were also teleported here. Qin Yu smiled. Junior brother Qin Yu, you entered the Sacred Academy's secret realm for the 10,000 poison ink dragon, right? Bai Qingyue flew in front of Qin Yu and asked charmingly. That's right. Qin Yu was slightly surprised and nodded. I know where the nest of the 10,000 poison ink dragon is, Bai Qingyue said with a smile. Why don't I take you there? Then I'll have to trouble you. Qin Yu naturally wouldn't refuse. Using a secret technique to sense the dragon qi would consume a lot of the dragon soul's dragon qi, and the further the distance, the longer the time, the greater the consumption. Immediately, the two flew into the void and flew towards the nest of the 10,000 poison ink dragon. Along the way, Bai Qingyue was quite curious about Qin Yu's true essence wings when he was in the sky martial realm. Last time when Qin Yu fought against Xue Tianwu, he obviously borrowed the power of the talisman. But when he challenged the Tianjiao list, Qin Yu directly condensed the true essence wings, which even shocked countless elders of the Sacred Academy. After flying for about half a day, Qin Yu's expression suddenly changed, and he stopped in the void. What's wrong? Bai Qingyue saw this and quickly became alert, but she didn't find anything. Someone is lying in ambush ahead, and there are a lot of people. Looking at the mountain shrouded in clouds in front of him, Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a cold, killing intent. A lot of people? No way, only the 8 of us entered the Sacred Academy's secret realm. Bai Qingyue was shocked. I didn't expect you to find it. Qin Yu, you're really not simple. At this moment, a gloomy laughter came from the misty mountain. In the next moment, figures shot out from the mountain and scattered around Qin Yu and Bai Qingyue, forming a formation vaguely. Killing intent filled the air. There were more than 100 people who appeared, and each of them was at least in the martial king realm. The 10 people in the lead were even at the martial royal realm. Xue Wudi. Bai Qingyue's expression changed when she saw Xue Wudi, whose face was full of killing intent. This killing formation is quite interesting. Qin Yu also saw Xue Wudi, but he didn't care. Instead, he looked at the killing formation formed by the 100 martial kings and martial royal realm with great interest. Qin Yu, It's not an unjust death for you to die in the 100-killing formation of the Shui clan. Seeing that Qin Yu saw through the killing formation of the Shui clan, Shui Wudi's eyes flashed with a touch of surprise, but the killing intent on his face became more intense. Chapter 70. 100-kill array? Hearing Shui Wudi's words, Bai Qingyue's face changed greatly. 100-kill array? The name sounds impressive, but I don't know how powerful it is. Qin Yu's expression remained the same even after he sensed the killing intent coming from the formation array. Junior Qin Yu, the 100-kill array is the most powerful array of the Shui clan. It was set up by 100 martial kings and 10 martial royal warriors. It has the record of seriously injuring a martial venerable. Seeing that Qin Yu did not seem to know anything about the 100-kill array, Bai Qingyue quickly explained. The array set up by martial kings and martial royal warriors could seriously injure a martial venerable. It was easy to imagine how powerful the 100-kill array was. No wonder you are the princess of the White Martial Commandery Prince Mansion. You have a good eye. Shui Wudi laughed wildly and looked at Qin Yu mockingly like an eagle staring at a chick. Boy, how do you want to die? I'll satisfy you. Shui Wudi, you disobeyed the Iron Order of the Saint Academy and secretly led the Shui clan into the secret land. Aren't you afraid of bringing disaster to the Shui clan? Seeing this, Bai Qingyue immediately stepped forward and stood in front of Qin Yu and shouted, You can't even protect yourself. How can you care about other people's business? Shui Wudi said, and his obscene eyes fell on Bai Qingyue's beautiful face and slim figure. You dare to kill me? Bai Qingyue's heart sank, but she was not surprised. When she saw the Shui clan warriors, she had expected it. The Shui clan had blatantly disobeyed the Iron Order of the Saint Academy, which was no less than provoking the Zhen Wu imperial family. Naturally, they would not let her, who knew about it, go. Princess, I didn't want to hurt you, but you didn't know what was good for you and insisted on going with this boy. You can't blame me. Shui Wudi's eyes were even more obscene as he laughed. Junior Qin Yu, do you have a way? Seeing this, Bai Qingyue could not help but look at Qin Yu. Although she knew it was impossible, Bai Qingyue could not help but feel hopeful. Although they were in danger, Qin Yu's calm and confident face made Bai Qingyue feel inexplicably at ease. What can a mere killing array do to me? Qin Yu glanced at the 100 martial kings and 10 martial emperors, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a slight smile. You still dare to be so arrogant at a time like this? Kid, let's see if you can still laugh when I crush your limbs and cripple your cultivation. The sinister smile on Shui Wudi's face stiffened. Qin Yu's calm appearance made his killing intent even more intense. With 100 martial kings and 10 martial emperors joining hands, even if they did not form the 100-killing formation, Shui Wudi did not think that Qin Yu would be able to escape. Now that they had formed the 100-killing array, Qin Yu actually had an appearance of not placing them in his eyes? He was simply too arrogant. A frog at the bottom of a well. How would you know the vastness of the world? The smile on Qin Yu's face gradually turned cold. He took a step forward and casually pointed at a martial king to his left. Roar. Accompanied by a dragon's roar that resounded through the 9 heavens, a 10-zhang-long ancient azure dragon appeared in the void without any warning. Its ferocious dragon head bit down on the martial king. Poochie. Before the martial king could react, his flesh and blood splattered everywhere and he died on the spot. This was the first move of the Battle Dragon secret technique. Azure Dragon battling the heavens. Dragon? Shui Wudi was dumbfounded. His vision was completely blocked by the ancient Azure Dragon. Bai Qingyun, who was standing beside Qin Yu, had her mouth slightly agape as she stood rooted to the ground. This is an ancient dragon formed by dragon qi. It's a secret technique. Among the 10 martial emperors, a white-haired old man saw that the azure dragon battling the heavens was a secret technique. Not good. At this moment, the Shui clan cultivators recovered from the azure dragon battling the heavens. One of the 100 martial kings that formed the 100 killing array had died just like that. The power of the 100 killing array had dropped by several levels. "I'll do it!" Shui Wudi also reacted. That Tenjiang ancient azure dragon made his heart tremble. "Get into formation and kill!" As Shui Wudi got into position, the white-haired old man shouted loudly. The true origin fluctuations of the 100 martial kings immediately merged into one. A terrifying murderous aura lingered in the air like a lingering mist. It was clearly visible to the naked eye. "Junior Qin Yu, the killing array has not been completely formed. If you have a way to escape, you should leave first." That bone-chilling and unparalleled murderous aura made by Qin Yue come back to her senses. Thinking of the scene where the ancient azure dragon killed a martial king in one move, Bai Qingyue felt that if Qin Yu was alone, he might have a way to escape. "Don't worry, nothing will happen," Qin Yu smiled. His smile was very wide. Under normal circumstances, he would have already killed Shui Wudi and the others. The reason why he had not made a move yet was because of the dense murderous aura of the 100 killing array. The 99 strands of murderous aura of the heavenly punishment array had been fully restored. Therefore, Qin Yu planned to use the intensity of the 100 killing array to completely awaken the 99 strands of murderous aura of the heavenly punishment array. If the murderous aura of the heavenly punishment array was completely awakened, the murderous aura of the heavenly punishment array would no longer be a consumable. Die. When Shui Wudi heard Qin Yu's words, he suddenly roared in anger. In the 100 killing array, hundreds of terrifying murderous auras attacked Qin Yu and Shui Wudi. At this moment, Shui Wudi did not even have any desire to covet Bai Qingyue. The ancient azure dragon seemed to have spiritual intelligence, staring at them covetously. Shui Wudi's heart was inexplicably palpitating. He only wanted to kill Qin Yu immediately. Just in time, Qin Yu's eyes flashed. With a thought, the heavenly punishment killing intent filled his body. The hundreds of murderous auras that were enough to kill a martial king were directly swallowed by the heavenly punishment killing intent and disappeared without a trace. How is this possible? Seeing that Qin Yu did not resist, Shui Wudi's sinister smile froze and he looked at Qin Yu in disbelief. What happened? The hundreds of martial kings and 10 martial kings of the Shui clan were shocked and their eyes were fixed. He was attacked by the 100 killing array without any resistance and he was still unharmed? Bai Qingyue, who was holding her breath, looked at Qin Yu with her clear eyes. For a moment, even her thoughts seemed to have stopped. Your Shui clan's strongest killing array is only this powerful? Feeling that the heavenly punishment array was trembling, Qin Yu knew that the murderous aura was not enough and he immediately provoked it. Damn it! Attack with all your might! Shui Wudi's eyes twitched and his face flushed red. He immediately roared. The 100 killing array rumbled and vibrated. Numerous palm-sized killing auras condensed in the air and once again frantically shot toward Qin Yu. This time, the murderous aura was endless and it seemed that it would not stop until Qin Yu was killed. Devour! Qin Yu's eyes shone brightly and he suddenly formed a seal with both hands. In the heavenly punishment array, the 99 murderous auras of the origin vibrated. A murderous aura vortex appeared around Qin Yu and all the murderous auras were devoured. Boom! When the 99 strands of origin killing intent in the heaven punishing array all awakened, a killing intent that seemed capable of slaughtering the entire world swept forth like a tornado. The murderous aura of the true origin from the 100 killing array was instantly shattered and disappeared. After fighting for so long, is it time for me to make a move? Qin Yu raised his eyelids and his cold gaze fell on Shui Wudi and the others. In an instant, Shui Wudi felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave. His entire body was extremely cold, and there was no warmth. I'll let you see the true power of the azure dragon battling the heavens. Qin Yu's right hand moved and the azure dragon battling the heavens, which was originally standing in midair, once again let out a deafening dragon roar. Puff puff puff! In the next moment, the azure dragon battling the heavens exploded and a dazzling azure light blossomed between heaven and earth. When the azure light dissipated, the 100 martial kings of the Shui clan were instantly slaughtered, and there were no survivors. Chapter 71. How is this possible? The 10 surviving martial royal warriors of the Shui clan were all stunned. Even though the scene before their eyes was real, they still found it hard to believe. Those were martial kings. 100 martial kings were instantly killed in a single move. Was this something that a sky martial realm cultivator could do? Even a martial honorable would not have such combat strength. How could he be so powerful? Bai Qingyue, who was beside Qin Yu, was also dumbfounded. She felt as if she was in a dream. As expected, the Azure Dragon is still unable to kill martial royal warriors in such a large area. Qin Yu, however, looked at those 10 martial emperors with a calm expression. Although the 10 martial emperors were injured, their injuries were not fatal. The difference between a martial king and a martial royal warrior was obvious. This kid is too strange. Let's retreat for now. When the white-haired elder saw Qin Yu looking at them, he felt his hair stand on end. Instantly, the true essence wings on his back flapped violently. He planned to fly away immediately. Don't you think it's too late to run now? A cold smile appeared on Qin Yu's face, as the destructive killing intent raged between heaven and earth. Above them, a huge murderous intent over 100 zhang tall had appeared out of nowhere. Boundless killing intent descended and enveloped all of them. Destroy. Qin Yu pointed his finger and the celestial killing array exploded. Streaks of terrifying heaven-punishing killing intent intertwined in the void like shooting stars and turned into a huge net of killing intent. Puff, puff, puff. The 10 martial royal warriors of the Shui clan, whether they were escaping or resisting, were all killed by the heaven-punishing killing intent. In an instant, the hundreds of martial kings and martial emperors sent by the Shui clan disappeared without a trace, dying without a burial place. The true essence around Qin Yu turned into silk threads and summer rings appeared in his hands. Let's go. After keeping the summer rings, Qin Yu called out to Bai Qingyue. Bai Qingyue was still in a daze and looked at him in shock. Until Qin Yu waved his hand, Bai Qingyue suddenly came back to her senses. Junior brother Qin Yu, who are you? Bai Qingyue hesitated for a long time before she couldn't help but ask. She could feel the thick scent of blood and bone-chilling killing intent lingering in the air. Qin Yu looked like the Qin Yu of the past, but he gave Bai Qingyue an extremely unfamiliar feeling. In other words, today's battle had completely shattered her previous understanding of Qin Yu. Me? I'm someone who's going to reach the peak of the myriad worlds. Qin Yu chuckled and said half true and half false. In his previous life, although he had become a venerable sovereign, he had only become one of the top experts in the Qinyun realm. Now that he was reborn, in this life, Qin Yu would break through the gap between immortal and mortal and step into the immortal realm that countless experts in the heaven domain had dreamed of for countless years. Hearing Qin Yu's words, Bai Qingyue slightly opened her mouth. Although Qin Yu said it in a joking tone, Bai Qingyue could feel the firm will contained in Qin Yu's words. Aren't we from the same world? Looking at the lofty Qin Yu, Bai Qingyue was slightly sad and couldn't help but have this thought. The gap between the two was too big. 3 days later, in front of a cold lake filled with gray fog, Qin Yu and Bai Qingyue flew away. It's here, but because the Saint Institute's elder came to capture it, I don't know if it's still here. Bai Qingyue's face was slightly dignified. Although she had seen Qin Yu's battle strength, Bai Qingyue still subconsciously became vigilant against the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon that almost killed her. The dragon blood aura is so rich. Qin Yu looked at the cold lake, his eyes flashing. It seems that the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon's bloodline has evolved at least 6 times. Inside the divine dragon ancient seal, the dragon soul's huge eyes were also flashing with joy. Any demon beast with dragon blood in its bloodline, once the power of its bloodline evolved, it would be able to successfully transform into a dragon. This 10,000 poison inky flood dragon had evolved 6 times, which meant that it had the potential to transform into a dragon in the future. And the stronger the dragon blood in its bloodline, the more benefits it would bring to Qin Yu. Plop! Qin Yu's body jumped, directly plunging into the cold lake. The cold lake was very deep. Qin Yu dived about 100 feet before reaching the bottom of the cold lake. The bottom of the lake was very big, and when Qin Yu arrived, 2 lantern-like red lights suddenly appeared at the bottom of the lake. 10,000 poison inky flood dragon. Qin Yu's mouth curved into a smile, looking at the 2 lantern-like red lights, and threw out a night light stone. Immediately, the true appearance of the 2 red lights was clearly revealed in Qin Yu's eyes. It was a 500 feet long, completely black inky flood dragon. There were 4 dragon claws under the inky flood dragon's abdomen, and faint dragon patterns appeared on its body, and there were 2 high bulging horns on its head. Just as Qin Yu and the dragon soul expected, this 10,000 poison inky flood dragon already had the tendency to transform into a dragon. Its cultivation was also stronger than what Bai Qingyue and the Holy Institute's elders had investigated. It had already reached the level of a first-grade martial emperor. Obviously, after seriously injuring Bai Qingyue, this 10,000 poison inky flood dragon's cultivation had increased by another level. Roar! Seeing the enemy invading, the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon suddenly roared, and the bone-chilling cold lake water turned into a frantically rotating torrent, sweeping towards Qin Yu. Whoosh! With a smile on his face, Qin Yu easily dodged the torrent, and his figure flashed, flying out of the cold lake. The 10,000 poison inky flood dragon chased after him. Puff! The cold lake suddenly exploded, and a small and a big shadow flew up to the sky. The wings of true origin on Qin Yu's back flapped, and he stood in the void, looking directly at the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon. The 10,000 poison inky flood dragon stepped on the mist and moved in the void. It had already touched the magic of riding the cloud. It's actually a martial emperor. Bai Qingyue, who was far away, felt the terrifying aura of the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon, and her eyes narrowed slightly. 6 bloodline transformations, a very good body. At this time, the dragon soul in the ancient seal of the dragon god said excitedly after seeing the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon, "Dragon soul, you want this 10,000 poison inky flood dragon?" Qin Yu, who was about to directly use the heaven punishment formation, immediately changed his mind when he heard the dragon soul's words. Using the heaven punishment formation was the fastest way to subdue the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon. But in that case, the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon was bound to be seriously injured, and even its vitality would be destroyed, and it could only become a consumable puppet. That's right, if I reveal my true form, it will inevitably attract trouble, but with this 10,000 poison inky flood dragon as a body, it will be different. The dragon soul nodded. In the dragon subduing pagoda, after absorbing a large amount of dragon chi, the dragon soul could already appear. But just in case, the dragon soul still decided to have a body to hide from others. After all, Qin Yu's current strength was not enough to look down on the Tianwu continent. In that case, let's follow the original plan to suppress it. With a thought, Qin Yu executed the Azure Dragon Heaven battling form, and a 30-meter-long Azure Dragon appeared, eyeing the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon covetously. Feeling the pure dragon might emitted by the Azure Dragon Heaven battling form, the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon was clearly frightened. But in addition to the fear, there was excitement in its scarlet eyes. Chapter 72. Roar! Almost instantly, the myriad poison's inky dragon let out an earth-shattering roar. Its huge body turned into a ray of black light and pounced on Qin Yu. Basically, martial royal realm demonic beasts had gained intelligence. The myriad poison's inky dragon was the same. Obviously, the myriad poison's inky dragon wanted to devour the azure dragon to stimulate the evolution of its bloodline. Just in time, Qin Yu smiled. He clenched his left hand into a fist, and the hell-suppressing divine spear appeared in his right hand. Distance shrinking. After Qin Yu used the azure dragon to entangle the myriad poison's inky dragon, he stopped and appeared in front of the myriad poison's inky dragon. 9 Dragons Battle Formation. Destructive Divine Fist. The hell-suppressing divine spear in his right hand thrust forward. The 9-dragon spear formation charged toward the myriad poison's inky dragon. His left fist punched out. The air shook and a solid fist radiance with destructive intent blasted out. Bang! The thick demonic aura surrounding the myriad poison's inky dragon exploded. Its black scales shattered and its huge body trembled. Even though the myriad poison's inky dragon had reached the martial royal realm, it was still unable to withstand the terrifying power of the 2 royal realm martial skills. Roar! The myriad poison's inky dragon was in pain. After roaring, its huge head spurted water at Qin Yu. Numerous crystal-like water arrows, carrying a series of sharp whistling sounds as they pierced through the air, flew towards Qin Yu from all directions. Such a large-scale attack was not a body movement martial skill. It was difficult to dodge. If it were an ordinary Sky Realm or Martial King Realm cultivator, they would have died under such a move. However, after Qin Yu's figure slightly swayed, he managed to safely pass through them. When he flashed again, he was already above the myriad poison's inky dragon's head. Dragon Soul, get ready! Qin Yu rushed down and attacked with the hell-suppressing divine spear and the destructive divine fist. The azure dragon that was entangled with the myriad poison's inky dragon suddenly turned into dragon chi and disappeared. In the next moment, the dragon chi gathered on Qin Yu's body. Together with the hell-suppressing divine spear and the destructive divine fist, they attacked the myriad poison's inky dragon fiercely. Crack! The ink-black scales on the 10,000 poison's inky flood dragon shattered, and blood splattered everywhere. The myriad poison's inky WRM howled in pain as a shocking demonic aura swept out. It transformed into a 1,000-feet-long water dragon, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws as it charged towards Qin Yu. Whoosh! But at this moment, the dragon's soul burrowed into the 10,000 poison's inky flood dragon's body with a vast dragon might. The enormous body of the 10,000 poison ink dragon trembled violently. Its originally blood-red and ferocious eyes gradually dimmed. If he could see through it, he would be able to discover that the dragon's soul was crazily devouring the 10,000 poison's inky flood dragon's soul in his sea of soul. How is it? The myriad poison's inky flood dragon didn't suffer any fatal injuries, right? Seeing that the 10,000 poison's inky flood dragon was being controlled by the dragon's soul, Qin Yu dispersed the azure dragon battling the heavens, and the tyrannical true yuan fluctuations on his body gradually converged back into his body. If not for Qin Yu being afraid of being too heavy-handed, he would not have had to fight so hard against a rank 1 martial monarch demonic beast. You controlled your strength very well. Not only did you injure him heavily, but you didn't injure his vitals. After obtaining a new body, the dragon's soul smiled joyfully. Then prepare to refine the dragon blood. Before Qin Yu's voice faded, he suddenly felt the student token at his waist constantly tremble. Is it about to be transported out? By Qin Yue, who was watching the battle from afar, understood. It seemed that the Sacred Institute had already discovered that the Shui clan had infiltrated 100 martial kings and 10 martial monarchs. It's the spatial fluctuations of being transported out. It should be about to be transported out. Qin Yu was slightly surprised. It seemed that the time was too short. But fortunately, he had achieved his goal this time. There was indeed no need to continue staying in this secret realm. Whoosh! The dragon's soul controlled the 10,000 poisons inky flood dragon, turning it into a dragon shadow and entering the ancient dragon seal. It carefully sensed the power of the dragon blood contained in the 10,000 poisons inky flood dragon's bloodline. After a few breaths of time, the token gave birth to a transportation array. The students who had entered the Sacred Institute's secret realm were instantly transported out. What's going on? Why is the time in the secret realm so fast? What happened? Isn't there usually a month's time? No, where's Shwewudi? Really, why didn't Shwewudi appear? Could it be that those geniuses who were full of doubts and discussions quickly realized that Shwewudi had not appeared? This made the geniuses who were on the genius roll extremely surprised. Shwewudi was one of the 3 strongest geniuses of the Imperial Sacred Institute. A prodigy like him couldn't possibly die in the mystic realm. Hearing the discussions around him, Yungushwan's eyes faintly looked at Qin Yu. In their group, other than him, the only one who had the strength to kill Shwewudi was Qin Yu, whose strength was a mystery. When Qin Yu and the others were transported out, Xie Ying waved his hand lightly. Immediately, 10 black-robed punishment elders flashed into the secret realm. These 10 people's cultivation had surpassed the martial monarch realm. They had all entered the martial honorable realm. Why didn't Shwewudi come out? Who knows what's going on? Xie Ying's sharp gaze swept across Qin Yu and the others, landing on Qin Yu faintly. Obviously, Xie Ying was thinking the same thing as Yungushwan. He was killed by me. Qin Yu did not hide it and said lightly. Shwewudi was killed by Qin Yu? When the geniuses heard this, they looked at Qin Yu in shock. Qin Yu killed Shwewudi, who was a LV9 martial king. Why? Xie Ying's face flashed with surprise. His gaze became sharper and his aura was like that of a ferocious beast. Dean, the Shwe clan violated the rules of the Sacred Institute and sent in 100 martial kings and 10 martial monarchs to form the 100-kill formation to kill us. You can't blame Junior Qin Yu. Bai Qingyue saw this and quickly stepped forward. She was afraid that Qin Yu would lose his temper and go against the dean. 100-kill formation? Hearing Bai Qingyue's words, the surrounding geniuses were even more shocked. Even Yungushwan's eyes twitched. 100 martial kings and 10 martial monarchs formed the 100-kill formation and Qin Yu and Bai Qingyue survived? Then, what about the Shwe clan? Xiang was stunned. Bai Qingyue looked at Qin Yu and didn't know whether to tell him or not. In her opinion, Qin Yu's shocking skills that day were already a big secret. I killed them. Qin Yu opened his mouth again. His tone was indifferent. However, his words were like a sudden clap of thunder that shook one's soul. 100 martial kings and 10 martial monarchs were all killed by you? Xiang squinted his eyes and stared at Qin Yu with a strange look. How could a LV6 Sky martial realm cultivator kill 100 martial kings and 10 martial monarchs? Dean, something happened. At this moment, an elder of the Sacred Institute rushed over. What happened? When he asked, Xie Ying's eyes were still fixed on Qin Yu as if he wanted to see through Qin Yu. Shwe Zhongshan, the ancestor of the Shwe clan, came with the Shwe clan to take Qin Yu away. The elder quickly reported. Shwe Zhongshan? Xie Ying retracted his gaze and frowned. He's old and muddle-headed. How dare he come to the Sacred Institute? After saying this, Xie Ying's figure flashed and disappeared from the cave. Qin Yu felt that Shwe Zhongshan's name was familiar. After thinking for a while, he remembered. Back in the Dragon Spirit City, when Master Gyuan forced Shwe Tianwu to retreat, he mentioned Shwe Zhongshan. Chapter 73. What is the Shwe clan trying to do? So many experts have come to the Saint Academy. Are they trying to attack the Saint Academy? Are you kidding me? The Imperial Academy was founded by the Imperial family. Even if the Shui clan is one of the big clans in the Imperial Dynasty, they wouldn't dare to behave atrociously in the Imperial Academy. At that moment, the students of the Saint Academy had gathered in front of the Imperial Academy and they were discussing among themselves. In front of the students, there were dozens of people from the Shui clan who were filled with killing intent. The weakest of the martial artists from the Shui clan was at least a martial king, and there were many martial royal realm martial artists. The most eye-catching person was the gray-haired elder who was the strongest among the crowd. The gray-haired elder emitted a terrifying cultivation that made all the martial artists present feel pressured. It was as if there was an invisible mountain pressing down on them. A martial honorable. There was no doubt that the gray-haired elder was a martial honorable. He should be one of the best in the martial honorable realm. Whoosh! A figure broke through the air and flew over. Dean. Seeing Xie Ying flying over, the martial royal realm elders of the Saint Academy heaved a sigh of relief. Although they knew that the Shui clan wouldn't dare to attack in the Imperial Academy, they still felt pressured by the aura of a martial honorable. Shui Zhongshan, you old man, are you crazy? Are you trying to rebel? Xie Ying flew down and asked the gray-haired elder rudely. Xie Ying was about to confirm that the Shui clan had secretly sent 100 martial kings and 10 martial royal realm martial artists to the secret realm. He didn't expect the Shui clan to come here themselves. Looking at the situation, Xie Ying didn't doubt what Bai Qingyue and Qin Yu had said. Xie Ying, don't accuse me of rebelling. I'm here today to ask you for your punishment. Shui Zhongshan's voice was hoarse as he snorted coldly. Ask me for my punishment? Then I'd like to hear it. Xie Ying found it funny. As the dean of the Imperial Academy, you allowed the thief Qin Yu to kill his fellow students. Don't you think you should give me an explanation? As he spoke, Shui Zhongshan's cold eyes looked behind Xie Ying and killing intent flashed in them. At that moment, Qin Yu, Yunguxuan, Bai Qingyue, and the other inner sect prodigies flew over. The Shui clan martial artists all stared at Qin Yu with murderous intent. In particular, Shui Qingtian's eyes were bloodshot. He could not wait to rush forward and kill Qin Yu. Looks like the Shui clan has to be eliminated as soon as possible. Sensing the killing intent of the Shui clan members, a shocking killing intent flashed across Qin Yu's eyes. Dragon soul, refine the 10,000 poisons inky flood dragon's blood, as soon as possible. Thinking of this, Qin Yu said to the dragon soul inside the ancient dragon god seal, "Don't worry, it'll be done soon." The dragon soul was also filled with killing intent. A mere martial honorable dared to be so arrogant in front of them. He was simply courting death. You're saying that if it's about Shui Tianwu and Qin Yu's life and death duel, then I think you should know what's going on. I've already given the Shui clan enough face by not crippling Shui Mo's cultivation and expelling him from the Sacred Academy. Ever since he had met Qin Yu in the dragon-subduing pagoda, Xie Ying had specially investigated Qin Yu. He was also clear about the life and death duel. In the life and death duel, life and death are up to the heavens. Tianwu's strength is inferior, so I have nothing to say. But what I want to say is that Qin Yu killed Shui Wudi in the Sacred Academy's secret realm. Xie Ying, the Shui clan will definitely pursue this matter. Shui Zhongshan's voice was cold and filled with killing intent. Even the temperature of the air seemed to drop. Shui Wudi was killed by Qin Yu? Hearing these words, those students and elders who were still unaware of the situation were suddenly shocked. Numerous astonished gazes fell on Qin Yu one after another. What happened in the Sacred Academy's secret realm? How did the Shui clan know? When Xie Ying heard this, his eyes flashed and he asked faintly. The direct descendants of the Shui clan all have a unique secret technique of the Shui clan. Once they are killed, they can detect the scene before their death. Shui Zhongshan was obviously dissatisfied with Xie Ying's continuous questioning. Xie Ying, the evidence is conclusive. As the Dean of the Sacred Academy appointed by His Majesty himself, are you still going to play favoritism and protect him? Xue Zhongshan's killing intent rose as soon as he said this. He was ready to attack if there was any disagreement. Xue Zhongshan, I haven't pursued the matter of the Xue clan sneaking into the Sacred Academy's secret realm. You're the one who's making the false accusation first. Xiang laughed, but his laughter was a bit cold. If the Xue clan hadn't been so bold as to violate the rules of the Sacred Academy and sneak into the Sacred Academy's secret realm, Xie Ying would have killed Xiang. Xie Ying would have pursued the matter of Xue Wudi's death to Qin Yu. But things were different now. In Xie Ying's eyes, what the Xue clan had done was a serious provocation to the Sacred Academy. No, it was a provocation to the dignity of the royal family. Intolerable. Xiang, if you don't have evidence, I advise you not to talk nonsense. The Xue clan followed the late emperor to expand the territory and made great contributions in the war. We were granted the title of a hereditary clan. Even if you are the dean of the Saint Academy, you can't bear the consequences if you frame the Xue clan for no reason. The corner of Xue Zhongshan's eyes twitched, and his voice became even more gloomy. I can testify about this matter. At this time, Bai Qingyue stepped forward and looked directly at the Xue clan with her clear eyes. Bai Qingyue, this matter has nothing to do with the Bai Wu Commandery Prince's mansion. Don't talk nonsense. Xue Zhongshan glanced at Bai Qingyue and ignored her. Xue Qingtian stepped forward and said coldly. Xue Wudi led 100 martial kings and 10 martial emperors of the Xue clan to set up the 100-kill formation to kill Junior Qin Yu. I saw it with my own eyes. Of course I'm not talking nonsense. Facing Xue Qingtian's murderous gaze, Bai Qingyue didn't step back. 100-kill formation? Is it the strongest killing formation of the Xue clan? It can't be. The 100-kill formation was set up by 100 martial kings and 10 martial emperors. It is said that even a martial venerable could be injured. How did Qin Yu survive? Hearing Bai Qingyue's words, the onlookers, who were just surprised, couldn't help but gasp in shock. Ha 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 ha. Bai Qingyue, are you talking about the 100-kill formation? Xue Qingtian's face changed slightly. He didn't expect Bai Qingyue to be so protective of Qin Yu. But soon, he looked up to the sky and laughed as if he had heard a funny joke. Yes. Bai Qingyue frowned and looked at Xue Qingtian strangely. Everyone knows that when the 100-kill formation is set up, no one below the martial venerable realm can survive. Xue Qingtian said coldly, not to mention that he is only in the sky martial realm. Even a martial king or martial emperor can't survive the 100-kill formation. His words caused a lot of discussion among the onlookers. Just as Xue Qingtian said, if it was really the 100-kill formation, Qin Yu couldn't be alive. Moreover, with 100 martial kings and 10 martial emperors, even if they didn't set up the 100-kill formation, they should be able to kill Qin Yu easily. Bai Qingyue's face changed slightly. When she was about to explain, a figure walked out. It was Qin Yu. Since you don't believe me, why don't you try it on the spot? Qin Yu had a strange smile on his face as he looked at Xue Zhongshan and the others. The Xue clan will be destroyed sooner or later. Now I'll collect some interest first. Chapter 74. The Xue clan had already lost 100 martial kings and 10 martial monarchs, which was bound to affect the Xue clan. Otherwise, the Xue clan would not be so exasperated. Even the ancestor of the Xue clan came aggressively. If he killed another 100 martial kings and 10 martial monarchs, the Xue clan's status as a great clan in the imperial court would be lost. Try it now. Hearing Qin Yu's words, the Xue clan and the imperial court martial artists were all stunned. Qin Yu wanted to challenge the Xue clan's 100-kill formation? Did he want to die? Qin Yu, what do you want? Yunxi heard Qin Yu's words and couldn't help but feel anxious. Yun Guxuan also frowned. He knew the power of the 100-kill formation very well. Could Qin Yu really handle it? If Qin Yu died here, the matter of the blood mist goo poison would be ruined. Are you serious? Xue Qingtian heard this and his eyes were filled with killing intent. He didn't know why none of the clansmen he sent into the imperial court's secret realm came out alive. However, he absolutely didn't believe that Qin Yu had the ability to survive the 100-kill formation. Now that Qin Yu wanted to challenge the 100-kill formation again, Xue Qingtian was naturally happy. He could take advantage of this opportunity to kill Qin Yu on the spot. With the ancestor of the Xue clan, Xue Zhongshan, even if Xie Ying tried to stop him, he would not be able to save Qin Yu. Of course. Qin Yu smiled faintly. There was undisguised contempt in his smile. This provoked the Xue clan even more. They all looked at Xue Zhongshan and waited for his order. It's too much for the Xue clan to use the 100-kill formation against a junior in the sky martial realm like you. Since you said you can handle the 100-kill formation, I think it's not difficult for you to fight against 10 martial monarchs. Xue Zhongshan looked at Xie Ying, who didn't try to stop him. He raised his eyebrows slightly and said indifferently. He originally thought that with Xie Ying's character, he would definitely stop him. However, Xie Ying not making a move was exactly what he wanted. Fighting 10 martial emperors? Didn't you just say that using the 100-killing array would be bullying Qin Yu? Now, sending out 10 martial emperors to deal with Qin Yu is no different from using the 100-killing array? The surrounding students began to discuss animatedly. Regarding the matter of Qin Yu being able to deal with the 100-kill formation, they were the same as Xue Qingtian, unable to believe it. Now that the Xue clan had sent out 10 martial emperors to fight against Qin Yu, it was obvious that they were not giving Qin Yu a way out. After all, no matter how strong the Sky Martial Realm was, it was impossible for them to be strong enough to fight against a martial emperor. 10 martial emperors? Heh, sure, come at me together. Qin Yu chuckled. Wings of true essence appeared on his back, and he flew into the air. Humph. A mere heaven realm ant. To deal with you, there is no need for 10 people to attack together. Xue Zhongshan snorted disdainfully and waved his hand slightly. A martial emperor flew into the sky. Lad, my name is Xue Baijian. You should be content to die at my hands. Xue Baijian had a muscular body, and he held a huge saber in his hand. His aura of a rank 7 martial emperor wreaked havoc between the heavens and the earth. Xie Ying raised his head and looked at Qin Yu, who was confronting Xue Baijian. He had no intention of stopping them. Since Qin Yu had taken the initiative to fight, it meant that he was confident in his own strength. To be honest, Xie Ying was also curious about Qin Yu's hidden skills. Die. 100 shattering slash. After a moment of confrontation, Xue Baijian suddenly attacked. Boundless true divine origin force rumbled out from his body and covered the saber in his hand. As he waved his saber, terrifying saber chi that contained a terrifying destructive force wreaked havoc between the heavens and the earth. It formed a torrent of saber chi and slashed towards Qin Yu. Azure Dragon fighting the heavens. Looking at the destructive saber chi that was sweeping towards him, Qin Yu did not avoid it. With a thought, a dragon's roar sounded and the Azure Dragon fighting the heavens appeared. This time, it was only as tall as a man and it surrounded Qin Yu. Break. Qin Yu moved his right hand and the hell-suppressing divine spear appeared. 400,000 pounds of physical strength mixed with the Azure Dragon fighting the heavens dragon chi and poured into the hell-suppressing divine spear. Boom! The long spear suddenly pierced through the air, causing the air to crackle and explode. The terrifying saber chi that Xue Baijian had unleashed was shattered by the spear. It turned into violent true divine origin force and wreaked havoc in the air. What? The people that saw that scene were all stupefied and incomparably shocked. A rank 6 Sky Martial Realm martial artist had actually shattered the attack of a rank 7 martial emperor, fighting an opponent who is 2 realms higher than him? Dragon Chi? What secret technique is that? Even Xie Ying and Xue Zhongshan, who were martial honorables, were shocked when they saw the azure dragon fighting the heavens around Qin Yu. They were able to tell that the source of Qin Yu's frightening battle power was the amplification from that cyan ancient dragon. However, they could not think of any secret technique in the world that could increase the combat strength of a sky martial realm martial artist to the level of a martial emperor. What a powerful secret technique! If I can get it. Shui Baijian was also a veteran. After a short moment of shock, he immediately came to his senses. His eyes were filled with greed and the killing intent in his heart grew stronger. Shush! However, right at this moment Qin Yu, who was in his line of sight, took a step and suddenly disappeared. This sent a chill down Shui Baijian's spine and his hair stood on end. 9 dragons fighting the heavens! In the next moment, an indifferent voice sounded above Shui Baijian's head. Boom! Before Shui Baijian could react, he was covered by the 9 azure dragon's spear and died instantly. Silence. Dead silence. Thousands of cultivators gathered in front of the gate of the Holy Academy. It was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. They raised their heads in a daze and looked at Qin Yu, who was holding a war spear and surrounded by azure dragons, standing in the void. A LV6 Sky Martial Realm martial artist killed a LV7 martial emperor? Was this really not a dream? Qin Yu looked indifferent. He did not show any emotion after killing Shui Baijian. The azure dragon fighting the heavens was one of the 9 great secret techniques of the ancient battle dragon art. Qin Yu had learned the 4 moves and killed a martial emperor when he was still a great emperor. It was not an exaggeration to say that the gap between the great emperor realm and the emperor realm was like heaven and earth. Not to mention that he had just killed a martial emperor when he was 2 great realms higher. If that was not the case, the ancient battle dragon art would not have become the most powerful forbidden secret technique of the ancient era. Who is next? Or do you want to take me on one by one? Qin Yu's indifferent gaze is looking down at the Shui clan's people who have extremely unsightly expressions. Despicable thief, let me deal with you. A LV8 martial emperor from the Shui clan was provoked by Qin Yu's disdainful look. Just as he was about to fly up into the sky to fight, Shui Zhongshan stopped him with a finger. Qin Tian, you go. Shui Zhongshan turned his head and looked at Shui Qin Tian, whose eyes were bloodshot, and said through a secret technique, don't miss this opportunity. You must kill him. Yes. Shui Qin Tian's figure flashed and appeared in the void. He stared at Qin Yu with cold, murderous eyes. Is that the Shui clan's patriarch, Shui Qin Tian? Shui Qin Tian is at the peak of the martial emperor realm. It is rumored that he has touched the martial emperor realm. I did not expect the Shui clan to send their patriarch to deal with a junior. The surrounding martial artists were awakened by Shui Qin Tian's murderous intent and started a heated discussion. Little bastard, I will avenge my son with my own hands today. Shui Qin Tian roared and a vague beast shadow appeared behind him. It was a 6-armed war ape. With the appearance of the 6-armed war ape, Shui Qin Tian's aura increased several times and reached the martial emperor realm. Chapter 75. Martial Honorable Realm? The rumor is true. Sensing Shui Qin Tian's vast aura, the onlookers on the ground fell silent as they stared at the 2 men in the air. Qin Yu could kill a rank 7 martial royal. How would he deal with Shui Qin Tian, who was comparable to a martial honorable realm? Would he create another miracle, or would he die? Bloodline power? Qin Yu looked at the 6-armed battle ape behind Shui Qin Tian and was slightly surprised. He smiled and said, not bad. Martial artists who had awakened their bloodline power were usually stronger than those of the same rank. Take Qin Yu for example. The dragon scale fruit that he had consumed previously allowed him to awaken the dragon tribe bloodline. Although it was still at the initial stage, it would increase his combat strength once it was awakened. However, Qin Yu had used the dragon scale fruit to build his foundation. In Qin Yu's previous life, He had only managed to create a suitable dragon tribe bloodline when he had reached the Emperor realm. In this life, he did not have to wait that long. Go to hell. Xue Qingtian could not wait any longer. After he had consumed an ancient pill, he had merged with the six-armed battle ape and 6 arms had appeared on his body. Xue Qingtian immediately launched an attack with his 6 arms swinging. Streaks of true Yuan righteous fist force smashed through the air like meteors and blasted toward Qin Yu with lightning speed. They were so fast and there were so many of them that it looked like a meteor shower in the eyes of the onlookers. Azure Dragon Fighting Style. Dragon fighting in the 9 heavens. Qin Yu's eyes flashed as he raised the Warden Divine Spear. The Azure Dragon Fighting Style and the Warden Divine Spear circled around his body. The ferocious dragon head and the cold tip of the spear seemed to have merged into one. Swoosh! In the next instant, Qin Yu's right hand shook. He thrust the long spear forward furiously as he merged with the spear like a dragon emerging from the sea. He carried an aura that could shatter the heavens and turned into a flash of green light in the air. Crack! Xue Qingtian, who had merged with the 6-armed battle ape and had 6 arms on his body, suddenly froze. His eyes, which were filled with dense killing intent, froze at this moment. In front of him, Qin Yu pierced through the tens of thousands of violent fist lights and appeared as if he had teleported. The hell-suppressing divine spear shattered the protective shield of true Yuan and fiercely pierced the defensive armor on his body. At this moment, cracks had already appeared on the armor. A destructive force entered Xue Qingtian's body and wreaked havoc, crushing his heart. Pucci! As Qin Yu withdrew his spear, Qin Qingtian's body trembled violently. Scarlet blood spurted out into the sky. His entire body went limp and fell from mid-air. The master of the Xue clan, who was famous in the imperial city and was most likely to become a martial emperor, was dead. Moreover, he died in the hands of Qin Yu, a young man who was still in his 20s. A cultivator of the 6th Tianqi layer killed a cultivator who was about to reach the Zunqi layer. Qin Yu is going against the heavens. Xiang looked at Qin Yu, who was surrounded by an ancient green dragon, and his heart was filled with indescribable shock. Xiang also knew that Qin Yu had not used his full strength. At the very least, Qin Yu had not used the extermination ghost eyes that he had subdued. Bang! The martial artists of the Xue clan only reacted when Xue Qingtian's body fell heavily on the ground and his bones shattered into pieces. Qingtian. Xue Zhongshan was filled with grief and indignation. He immediately rushed out and took Xue Qingtian's body. Damn you, little bastard! Xue Zhongshan roared angrily and his terrifying killing intent soared to the sky. A destructive tornado appeared in the air, as if it was going to destroy everything in the world. The surrounding onlookers were extremely shocked and they retreated again and again. Dean! At this moment, a martial emperor of the Sacred Institute appeared beside Xie Ying and handed something to him. Xie Ying's expression changed slightly when he saw it. His figure flashed and he appeared in front of Xue Zhongshan, who was about to attack Qin Yu. Xiang, if you don't protect that little bastard today, the Xue clan will owe you a favor and we will repay you generously in the future. However, if you stop me, you will fight the Xue clan to the death. Xue Zhongshan's aura became more and more terrifying. He did not even give Xiang face. You should take a look at this first. Xiang was unmoved. He flicked his finger and a piece of jade flew towards Xue Zhongshan. Bang! Xue Zhongshan's eyes narrowed when he saw the jade, and he directly crushed it into pieces. If I remember correctly, this kind of teleportation array carved on the jade is a unique secret skill of the Xue clan, right? Xue Zhongshan, I will report this matter to His Majesty and let His Majesty make the decision. Another piece of jade appeared in Xie Ying's hand and he said coldly, if the Xue clan attacks Qin Yu again, I will punish the Xue clan according to the rules of the Sacred Institute and punish them for treason. the entire clan will be killed without mercy. As soon as Xie Ying finished speaking, numerous figures with powerful auras flew out of the Royal Sacred Institute and surrounded all the people of the Shui clan. Those figures were at least martial royal realm, and there were even a few martial emperors among them. The Sacred Institute's foundation was very strong. Let's go. Shui Zhongshan's face twitched, and he stared fiercely at Xie Ying. After a good while, Shui Zhongshan took a sinister glance at Qin Yu. Leading the Shui clan members, he turned around and left. If Xie Ying had not found evidence that the Shui clan had sent people to sneak into the Sacred Institute's secret realm, he would have killed Qin Yu today no matter what. Needless to say, today's matter would soon spread throughout the Sacred Institute and even to the surrounding Sacred Institute. A hereditary clan had actually fallen at the hands of a young man, and even their patriarch had been killed. The Shui clan had lost a lot of face, and they would become the laughing stock of countless forces in the future. And Qin Yu would step on the Shui clan's corpse and become famous in the Sacred Institute. No one could stop him. As the Shui clan left, the ancient azure dragon around Qin Yu dissipated and flew down. After bowing to Xie Ying, Qin Yu ignored the respectful gazes of the surrounding elders and went straight to the attic of the inner courtyard. After closing the door, Qin Yu entered the secret room of the attic. Dragon Soul, how is it? Qin Yu's consciousness entered the ancient dragon seal and asked the dragon soul that was circling around the myriad poison ink dragon. Still a while. If it was a simple matter of extracting the dragon blood from the bloodline, the dragon soul could easily do it. But the myriad poison ink dragon was going to be used as a body by the dragon soul, so it had to be careful to avoid damaging the foundation of the myriad poison ink dragon. After an hour, the dragon soul finally separated the dragon blood from the 10,000 poisons inky flood dragon's body. Immemorial battle dragon art. Looking at the crystal-clear dragon blood that looked like many myriad poison ink dragons, Qin Yu immediately activated the immemorial battle dragon art. The 10 golden dragon veins in his body all burst out with an amazing devouring power and crazily absorbed the crystal-clear dragon blood. The quality of the blood flame Kylan was too poor, so Qin Yu let the dragon soul refine it into dragon qi and absorb it into his body. But now, the dragon blood in the myriad poison ink dragon had been completely refined by the dragon soul and was extremely pure. It was enough for Qin Yu to absorb directly. Rumble. Qin Yu's white clothes fluttered in the absence of wind. Waves of valiant energy swept out in all directions, creating clear and audible sounds of collision in the secret room. At this moment, Qin Yu's cultivation was frantically increasing at a speed that would cause one to be shocked. 7th level Sky Martial Realm, 8th level Sky Martial Realm, 9th level Sky Martial Realm, Peak Sky Martial Realm, boom. Finally, the sea of true energy in Qin Yu's dantian spun violently. The majestic true energy turned into a pure elemental core, and righteous energy was born in the elemental core. This also meant that Qin Yu's cultivation had officially stepped into the martial king realm. Chapter 76. However, Qin Yu's cultivation did not stop there. It continued to rise. LV1 Martial King Realm, break. LV2 Martial King Realm, break. LV3 Martial King Realm, break. LV4 Martial King Realm, break. Qin Yu's cultivation only stopped after he broke through to the peak of LV4 Martial King Realm. The purity of the dragon blood in the myriad poison inky dragon's bloodline was beyond Qin Yu's expectation. After all, stepping into the martial king realm meant that one was pursuing the path of immortality. The gap between the martial king realm and the sky martial realm was huge. The myriad poison inky dragon could raise his cultivation to the peak of LV4 martial king realm, which showed how rich the dragon blood was. While Qin Yu was refining the dragon blood to raise his cultivation, in the imperial city, the imperial palace, Xue Qi Tian was really killed by Qin Yu? Hearing the news from the Imperial Sacred Institute, Wu Xingchen froze on the spot in disbelief. The ancestor of the Xue clan, Xue Zhongshan, had personally led the experts of the Xue clan, but 2 martial emperors were killed by Qin Yu. One of them was even the patriarch of the Xue clan, Xue Qingtian. The news shocked Wu Xingchen and sent a chill down his spine. Doesn't that mean that the 100 martial kings and 10 martial emperors that the Xue clan sent into the imperial sacred ground were all killed by Qin Yu? Wu Xingchen mumbled to himself in a daze. The shock in his eyes could not be concealed. He knew that the Xue clan had sent 100 martial kings and 10 martial emperors into the imperial sacred ground, and he had even secretly helped them a lot. He thought that Qin Yu was doomed, but he did not expect that Qin Yu would break the trap so easily. The Xue clan was the one who suffered a great loss. He's only in the sky martial realm, how can he have such powerful combat strength? No, if he knows that I'm involved in this. While Wu Xingchen was still in shock, a martial king guard hurried into the hall. Your Highness, the northwest border has been lost. The simple words made Wu Xingchen feel like a bucket of cold water was poured on his head. He was stunned. I'm going to see Imperial Father. Take out the war god armor. Wu Xingchen instructed and flew away with extreme speed. At this moment in the secret chamber, you don't plan to create your bloodline? Qin Yu's cultivation had greatly increased. The benefits of the dragon soul were also great. He had also advanced to the martial king realm. But seeing Qin Yu absorb the dragon blood and use it all to raise his cultivation, the dragon blood asked in surprise. Although the dragon blood in the 10,000 poisons inky flood dragon is pure, it is not the blood of a true dragon after all. The bloodline power created from it will probably not be of very high quality. Qin Yu shook his head slightly. There were 2 benefits to molding the power of one's bloodline. Firstly, awakening one's bloodline would increase one's combat strength. Secondly, with the bloodline in his body, his aptitude would increase, and his cultivation speed would be faster. However, for the current Qin Yu, he had no use for these 2 points at the moment. With the Azure Dragon Heaven Warring stance and the Heaven Punishing formation, Qin Yu did not need to worry too much about the increase in his combat prowess. As for his aptitude, the number of branch dragon veins he had now reached 10, allowing his cultivation speed to increase tenfold. Once he obtained the dragon blood, his cultivation would improve rapidly. Therefore, Qin Yu was not too worried about his cultivation. For him, finding the dragon blood or obtaining information about it was the most important thing. Roar. When his cultivation stopped improving, Qin Yu performed a hand seal. As the ancient blue dragon appeared, the dragon aura it emitted was even more shocking. Almost every dragon scale had a faint dragon rune on it. Martial Highness Realm. Sensing the imperious aura of the Azure Dragon Heaven Warring stance, Qin Yu wore a grin on his face. If the strength of the Azure Dragon Heaven Warring stance had reached the Martial Highness Realm, it meant that with enough dragon chi, his combat prowess would be able to reach the Martial Highness Realm in a short period of time. Xue clan, it's time for us to settle our grudge. Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a frightening cold light as his cultivation base increased greatly. Since the Xue clan was so eager to kill him, Qin Yu naturally had to eliminate the Xue clan as soon as possible. Otherwise, who knew what kind of tricks they would play in the dark? Although Master Guyuan was guarding Dragon Spirit City, given the current situation, Master Guyuan alone did not seem to be too conservative. All inner courtyard students, gather at the martial arts practice field. However, at this moment, a strong voice suddenly entered the secret chamber. What happened? Qin Yu was stunned. Something big must have happened. Otherwise, the voice would not have entered the secret chamber to disturb his cultivation. This was a great taboo. When Qin Yu came out of the secret chamber, he realized that in just half a day, the atmosphere in the Royal Sacred Institute had become tense. Qin Yu asked an elder who was passing by and understood what was going on. The Hundred Battles dynasty had launched a sneak attack on the border. The Xuanwu army had been completely annihilated and the border-guarding king had died. The 7 counties in the northwest border had all fallen into the enemy's hands and countless martial artists had died. Now, all the duke mansions and aristocratic families of the Zhenwu dynasty had gone to the border to provide support. The inner courtyard students of the Royal Sacred Institute had also received the mission to eliminate the enemy at the border. This was a powerful mission, so everyone would go. Of course, they were not going to deal with the Hundred Battles dynasty's army. Instead, they were going to take advantage of the chaos and enter the Zhenwu dynasty to rob. Border Guarding King, Qin Yu's eyes narrowed slightly. Wasn't Border Guarding King the title of the Bai Wu commandery prince? Bai Qingyue's father had died? But soon, Qin Yu's attention fell on the news that the 7 counties in the northwest had fallen. The Dragon Spiritual City was also located in the northwest. Although it was not at the border, if the Hundred Battles dynasty's army went deeper, it would be dangerous for the Dragon Spiritual City. All inner courtyard students, gather at the martial arts practice field. Immediately, Qin Yu heard the voice from the martial arts practice field again. He immediately flew over and temporarily gave up on attacking the Shui clan. At this time, the dynasty was in trouble. If he took the opportunity to attack the Shui clan, he would definitely offend the public. When Qin Yu arrived at the martial arts practice field, he found that the 1,000 inner courtyard students had already lined up neatly. In front of the inner courtyard students was the majestic Wu Xingqian, who was wearing a golden armor. The Royal Sacred Institute would send out students to battle this time, and they would be led by Wu Xingqian. Qin Yu's eyes swept across the crowd and saw Bai Qingyue, who was wearing a white armor. At this time, Bai Qingyue's eyes were red and she stood there silently. She was completely different from before. Even if they were far away, they could feel the shocking killing intent emitted from Bai Qingyue. When Qin Yu looked at Bai Qingyue, Wu Xingqian, who was at the front, looked at Qin Yu. Wu Xingqian's deep eyes flashed with a touch of coldness. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, a gust of extremely oppressive hurricanes appeared. 10 flying spirit beasts that were 400 to 500 feet in size descended from the sky and landed around the martial arts practice field. Everyone, get ready to go! Wu Xingqian shouted and took the lead to jump onto a flying spirit beast. The other students followed closely. Each flying spirit beast could carry hundreds of students. Chapter 77. Junior Qin Yu, a voice called out. A voice sounded. Only then did Qin Yu notice that Yun Guxuan and Yun Shi were on the same flying spiritual beast as him. Furthermore, Yun Shi's cultivation had also reached the Martial King realm. Senior Yun Guxuan, Senior Yun Shi. Qin Yu greeted them. Junior brother Qin Yu, regarding the conditions that you mentioned last time, my clan has already replied. Yun Guxuan walked to Qin Yu's side and said softly. What do you mean? Qin Yu was interested. Did the Yun family make some progress? My family does know something about the dragon's blood, but it's important and can't be spread. Yun Guxuan said, so, I hope you can come with us to the Yun family fort? Sure, we'll go to the Yun family fort after we're done here. Qin Yu's eyes flashed and he agreed. With his current battle strength, he was not afraid of the Yun family fort. By the way, Senior Yun Guxuan, do you know the situation of the war between the two countries? Immediately after, Qin Yu turned to ask Yun Guxuan. He had been gathering since he came out of the secret chamber, so he did not know much about the war. Fengsha County is in the most critical situation in the Zhenwu dynasty. The army of the Hundred Battles dynasty has gone deep and is approaching the Fengsha County, followed by the Rising Sky County and the Yellow Maple County. Although the Rising Sky County and the Yellow Maple County are not attacking them, there are many martial artists from the Hundred Battles dynasty harassing them. Our mission this time is to attack the enemies in the Rising Sky County. Most of the people there are rogue cultivators. The Sacred Institute can be a good place for us to train our battle strength. Yun Guxuan said. I heard that the emperor of the Zhen Wu dynasty is going there personally. I think this war will either end soon or go on indefinitely. Yun Shi chimed in. It's strange. Although the Zhen Wu dynasty and the Hundred Battles dynasty have a lot of conflicts, it's rare to see such a large-scale attack. What's even stranger is that the Xuanwu army guarding the border was wiped out. Yun Guxuan looked at the students around him and said in a low voice, Maybe there's a mole in the Xuanwu army. A mole? Qin Yu was slightly surprised, but he felt that Yun Guxuan's words made sense. After all, if one wanted to wipe out an army, they would have to lead them to a land of death or cut off the transportation formation. No matter what the situation was, the chances of there being a mole were much higher. The flying spirit beast's speed was extremely fast. In just half a day, they arrived at one of the main cities in the Rising Sky province. Second Prince. The city lord had received the news Xianchen was. At a time like this, there's no need for these empty formalities. Tell me, what's the situation now? Wu Xingchen jumped off the flying spirit beast and went straight to the point. According to the report from the scouts, tens of thousands of Hundred Battles dynasty martial artists have gathered at the border of the county. They may attack at any time. Fortunately, they're not from the Hundred Battles dynasty, so they shouldn't be able to take down the city. But now, many scouts have sneaked into the county. They're now wandering around the surrounding mountains to gather information. The number is still increasing. The city lord, who was a martial king, quickly reported. As he spoke, he looked at the 1,000 inner court students who had come as reinforcements. His eyes flashed with joy. 1,000 martial kings were enough to defend the city. You'll be in charge of the defense of the city. Also, pass down the order for all the spies of the dynasty to withdraw from the outside. Remember, all the cultivators who withdraw must have their identities verified. After an hour, we'll clean up the Hundred Battles dynasty martial artists who sneaked in. Those who haven't returned by then will be dealt with as the enemy. It was obviously not Wu Xingchen's first time leading an army in a war. Yes. The city lord accepted the order and immediately went to make arrangements. We have an hour to rest. After an hour, we'll deal with the Hundred Battles dynasty's scouts who sneaked into the county. Everyone is free to form a team or act alone. I can tell everyone that the reward for this mission is quite generous. It's personally given by the royal family. As for the distribution, it'll be decided by the number of enemies killed. Wu Xingchen knew that if he wanted these students to go all out, he had to give them motivation. Sure enough, after hearing Wu Xingchen's words, the students were elated. As the second prince of the true martial royal family, Wu Xingchen's words were naturally not false. Immediately, many of the more experienced students began to form their own group. This mission was different from the previous ones. They would fight with martial artists from other countries. If they were not careful, they might lose their lives here. Therefore, very few people chose to act alone. Most of them moved in groups. Except for one person, Bai Qinyue. After Wu Xingchen finished speaking, Bai Qinyue sat alone at the side and kept wiping the ancient sword in her hand. The surrounding students glanced at her and did not go forward to deal with her. At this time, Bai Qinyue's state was obviously not right. If they acted with her, they might be affected. Of course, there was another factor. The current Bai Qinyue's status was not as noble as before. Although she was still the princess of the White Martial Commandery Prince's mansion, her status was completely different after the death of the Border King. It was said that the crown princes of the White Martial Commandery Prince's mansion had now begun to compete for the position of the prince's mansion. Wu Xingchen looked at Bai Qinyue and turned to leave. This was a good opportunity to consolidate his reputation. If Bai Qinyue's mood was fine, he did not mind bringing her along. But Bai Qingyue was now bent on revenge. He would not bring a burden with him. Da-da. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps approached. Bai Qingyue slightly tilted her head and saw a familiar face. Senior Qingyue, are you okay? Qin Yu looked at Bai Qingyue. I'm fine. Bai Qingyue forced a smile. Her action of wiping the ancient sword did not stop at all. It just so happens that I lack a partner. Why don't we act together? Qin Yu said with a smile. Aren't you afraid that I will implicate you? Bai Qingyue's action of wiping the ancient sword paused for a moment. Her heart was slightly warm. She slightly bit her lips and said, You know my strength very well. Even if you want to implicate me, you won't have the chance. Qin Yu smiled faintly. For him, whether it was the reward or the reputation, he did not care about it. However, Bai Qingyue's current situation made him a little worried. Why did you help me? Bai Qingyue's bright eyes slightly brightened, looking at Qin Yu. How should I say I can reach my current cultivation so quickly? I really have to thank you. Qin Yu's words were not false. Whether it was the bloodline of the Scarlet Thunder Python or the capture of the 10,000 poison inky flood dragon, it was directly related to Bai Qingyue. What do you mean? Bai Qingyue was startled. She did not understand Qin Yu's words. Qin Yu smiled and did not speak again. Although he and Bai Qingyue were friends, he naturally would not tell her about refining the dragon's blood. Seeing this, Bai Qingyue did not ask more and remained silent. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.